I'm afraid what you're going to relearn today will be reassessed after tomorrow's banning/changes. Do we expect that Historic's going to get bans? Oh, I guess if there's anything rebalanced, that might affect Historic, that's true. Still, the context of where things are at now is better than the context that I'm working on currently, which is where things were at 2 months ago. Will at least catch me up when things change a little faster. Faithless looting, binning 2 Arclight Phoenixes. Oh no! Well, let's immediately try to Thoughtseize the opponent. I'm going to take the Consider, on account of that being a spell that's castable, while the rest of this is spells that aren't castable. Opponent immediately draws 2 Faithless looting. Okay. Okay, so it's only 3 Phoenixes. That shouldn't be a problem. We'll be fine. Dragon's Rage Channeler, sure. Am I supposed to... I'm probably supposed to Infernal Grasp that, I think. How many card types does my opponent have? 1, 2, 3. Instant sorcery creature, and that's it. No Delirium. Lovely. And this still doesn't give them Delirium. Which means as long as I don't... I guess I could downtick my Narset once and it won't die to Infernal... or Unholy Heat, rather. Kaervek, not terribly useful. Yeah, let's downtick Narset to 3. Inquisition is interesting. 4th land drop also interesting, though. But also Narset number next one also interesting. I think I'm just supposed to take another Narset here. I don't know whether I'm going to plan to downtick my existing Narset and replay the second Narset, or if I'm just going to hold this Narset in case my Narset on board gets removed. Alright, nice to know this game plan against Phoenix still functions perfectly well. Good times, good times. Alright, how did we board against Phoenix with this deck? I definitely cut Kaervek. I think I cut Infernal Grasp, and I think I cut Thoughtseize at the very least. I know I brought in Pull. I know I brought in Gust. I know I brought in Go Blanks. I know I brought in Shark Typhoons. Oh, what were the cuts? I suppose previously the stuff that this Sorin replaced probably was some of the cuts. No, I would have kept Search for Azcanta, but I would have kept cut the Shadow's Verdict. Do I want to keep Sorin against Phoenix? It doesn't feel terrible, I guess, but it doesn't feel stellar either. Could just cut Inquisitions, but I don't know if that's actually good. Inquisitions are kind of useful against them early on, for taking cantrips. I don't like the idea of increasing my curve at all. How do we kill Entity? Drown in the Loch, mostly. But it's true. Might be a reason for Infernal Grasp. Shark Typhoon can also do it in a pinch. But Infernal Grasp is really the only other option we could do to play around that. Or I guess Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize isn't bad. It hits the 4-drop that draws cards, in a sense. I think I'm probably supposed to cut Inquisitions. I'm not sure if that's right. I feel like I'm probably supposed to be cutting Sorin's here. It seems like the least super impactful card. Okay. Davriel's Withering is interesting. Am I supposed to hold that up on turn 2, though? I don't think I am, so I think we just play the Watery Grave tapped here to save some life on a future turns. Sorin's blockers are just the right size for chump blocking Phoenix, but is that actually good? I'm not sure if paying 4 mana for that and putting a Phoenix in the graveyard is actually good enough. If Sorin's blockers were 2/4s, that'd be a different story. Or even 1/3s. Or no, 1/4s. 1/4s is what they would have to be. I could play Search for Azcanta here. My opponent's Fabled Passage had to come in tapped this turn. I suppose if my opponent has a Mystical Dispute, I kind of want them to Mystical Dispute this Search for Azcanta. One of the reasons to hold up Davriel's Withering here would be that if my opponent does combo off with Arclight Phoenix next turn, then the Arclight Phoenix is going to be in play, so I can't just Narset it. But if I hold up Davriel's Withering and kill an Arclight Phoenix with Davriel's Withering, then I could safely play the Narset and try to lock him out. But I think 2 trades are very good because you're already good at stressing the opponent's ability to bring back birds. Well, I don't know if that's completely true, because I think that becomes less true post-board as we board out Hand-Hate. We don't do quite as good of a job of pressuring our opponent's resources in that case. I do want lands, but I also want stuff in my graveyard. The eternal conundrum of Search for Azcanta. We'll just draw more lands, it'll be fine. We drew more lands, it was fine. Could play Narset here. The opponent sort of debated on the Search for Azcanta, which might have just been them forgetting they had priority because of Fabled Passage. No, I don't think so. Okay, only Expressive Iteration. That's not terrible for me. Faithless Looting. Alright, so some number of Phoenixes possibly this turn. Consider before Faithless Looting seems wrong to me. You have more cards to discard, I guess. Alright, so we got 2 Phoenixes coming back. We get punched by 1 Phoenix. I could Psych Shark Typhoon here, but I'm probably not interested in that. I don't really want to Lier right now. I would like more copies of Withering, please. I could Narset and downtick here looking for Withering. I've got 3 left that I could hit. Or I could just play Narset, and my opponent has to have something, sorcery, land, instant creature. So if I played Narset, I want to downtick it because they have Delirium, and it's not hard for them to kill Narset. Do I feel like Pull is better than Deluge? I think so. It's worked better as a top deck for me in the context of this deck than Deluge, because far more often I'm casting Pull for like X equals 3. And then flashing it back for like X equals 3. But I guess that's with the Lier in play, which Deluge would be good at that point too. Yeah, I think I'm Narset downticking here, which I don't actually feel good about. Yeah, I don't feel good about this at all. Okay, what are we doing then? guess Drown is more mana efficient. Archmage's Charm certainly isn't going to be good here. There's another problem with Deluge in that it's weak to board in against Graveyard Hate, and one of the utilities of Pull from Tomorrow is that it's powerful to bring in against decks that... Oh yeah, I could have played the Narset and then down-ticked before playing my land, in which case I would get to have a 5th land untapped here. That's a good point. But yeah, Pull for Tomorrow not being made kind of weak by Rest in Peace is a nice way to fight the Rest in Peace decks. I also think Pull for Tomorrow is generally a lot stronger in control mirrors than Deluge, because you only need to get one opening to resolve it and win the game, whereas Deluge you have to resolve twice for a lot of mana, and then you get like incremental card advantage both times. I don't think Sorin's good enough in this spot. Alright, well, we do get to destroy the Crackling Drake. That's kind of nice, and luckily the tap land appears to have not hurt us at all here. So we're transforming Search for Azcanta next turn, but the opponent still has like infinity cards and an Ox. Luckily the Ox isn't relevant yet, but will be relevant eventually, which not stellar. So we can Lier into removal spell next turn, because we've got the Withering in the graveyard and Azcanta's flipping. Always happy to play Redless Grixis. Always happy to. Does opponent's deck even run any historic cards? Yeah. Right, because they're playing Arclight Phoenix and Faithless Looting. Or do you mean any alchemy cards? I don't think they run any alchemy cards, as far as I know. This stops us from having the Lier play next turn, unfortunately. I don't think I'm drowning this Arclight Phoenix. This gives us the Lier play this turn. Is that worth doing, is the question. I don't think that's worth doing compared to just replaying Search for Azcanta. How was Yu-Gi-Oh! On Saturday? It was fun. We nearly made it through the tutorial. I can definitely see myself doing it again at some point. Do I want to counter Prismari Command? We don't have enough mana to play Lier and hold up a counter spell. And also we can't hold up a counter spell with Lier in play. The tutorial took you 12 hours? No, about 80% of the tutorial took me 12 hours. Admittedly, attempting to be entertaining while streaming slows the process down a little bit. Narset. That shall not be allowed. Or at least attempting to not allow that will be the thing I try to do. Yeah, kind of figured there would be a Mystical Dispute coming here. Artifact or legendary? Oh, well, yeah, they definitely have. They have both an artifact and a legendary now. Negate. But they don't have enough mana for that. Do I want a land right now? Land lets me resolve Lier through Mystical Dispute, which is pretty interesting. In fact, I think that's probably interesting enough to keep. And we're transforming Azcanta either way. I could also try to resolve Shark Typhoon. That'd be kind of neat, I guess. But nah, I think we're going to go with Lier. Do we think Lier is going to get nerfed? I would be very surprised if that happened. Lier does not seem like the card that needs to be nerfed to me. Yeah, let's Withering Phoenix. Because my opponent could have a removal spell for Lier and then negate the Withering. And I just don't want that to happen. Alright, so we've answered 2 Phoenixes. That's a start. Yeah, that's an Unholy Heat. I can't do much about that. And now the opponent has a negate. So I've got Azcanta. The trouble is going to be that those are 2 Oxes, and that's a challenge. I really wonder if I was better off resolving Search for Shark for Typhoon. Unfortunately, we're definitely not hard casting Shark into negate. Oh, hey, cool, the opponent found all 4 Phoenixes. Radical. Neat. Very exciting. Ah, goodness, 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 goodness. Still has a negate up. This is rather troublesome. Pull for Morrow doesn't do anything with Narset in play. How do I know they're not playing 8? That's true. I say all 4 like they're not playing more than 4. How can I be sure? 2, 4... Ow, if I make this Shark Typhoon for 4, then I can't activate Azcanta? I think I kind of need to be able to activate Azcanta here. Memory Deluge is a lot better than Pull versus Narset. This is true. Yep. Unholy Heat was certainly not beatable. Alright, this time around we're going to attempt to have the opponent not have everything. An interesting note here. Very frequently, they will not play anywhere near that many counterspells. That was a negate and a mystical dispute. Depending on the build of Phoenix, they try very hard not to play cards that they can't play at sorcery speed. Very, very interesting. The opponent was willing to play those. Furthermore, that makes me kind of interested in more hand hate, I believe. It's always so tough on whether I want to play Inquisition or Thoughtseize against these versions that are actually playing expensive creatures. Wait, was this not the game where I... Yeah, okay, yeah, there was a Crackling Drake. Usually they're playing 4 Crackling Drake. I think I'm going to go with Thoughtseize instead. We'll see how much we like the pain. In my experience, Phoenix can't beat Hullbreaker ever. Now that's not a card I've considered playing before because it usually feels like I die before it's relevant, but there might be something to that. I find that kind of an interesting idea. Why no Lantern in the sideboard? Felt like Go Blank was better in every matchup where that was a option. We're not going to have the best mana for Archmage's Charm here, but I suppose that's fine. And then we immediately draw Archmage's Charm, sure. Well, opponent, you've discarded 2 cards that you actually want in the graveyard, so I'm going to go blank and try to play around Mystical Dispute on my Narset here. Two opts gone. But they kept to consider? Yes. Alright, so they don't have lands in hand, otherwise I imagine they would have kept Crackling Drake. But they got spells. So many spells. Found more Phoenixes. Okay. I guess I don't mind that right now, since I actually have Witherings. Do we think the opponent's still on Mystical Dispute? Really punished right now for not having Archmage's Charm up. I would be very comfortable passing into their turn with Archmage's Charm up to counter a card draw spell. Alright, well, I'm gonna pass instead. Okay, Narset's sort of fine. It's not great. Oh, if it whiffs, that's much better for me. We get to make a 1/1 here, which pokes the Narset down. We draw a land. Alright, we draw an untapped land. That's a bigger deal. Except it's not actually an untapped land because none of my lands are islands or swamps. Okay. Well, that's probably fine. Still haven't given the opponent an opportunity to use a Mystical Dispute. Still don't think I want to play this Narset, I don't believe. Narset dies. Okay, cool. I take this to mean the opponent doesn't have a... They have a Crackling Drake. Well, that's a bummer. Would have liked to have Archmage's Charmed that. Delirium? Very Delirium. Could kill this Crackling Drake with 2 Witherings. Don't have a lot of alternative ways to kill this Crackling Drake currently. But there's a Phoenix in the yard. I'm gonna go with no on that. I guess I can take some punches from this Crackling Drake for the time being. I don't need to jam the Narset here if I can hold up Archmage's Charm instead. I can also just pull for 3 at the end of their turn, which I kinda dig. Opt number 1. I cannot pull for 3 if I have to Davriel's Withering a Phoenix this turn, but I can Archmage's Charm if I have to Davriel's Withering a Phoenix. If my opponent... There's another Phoenix. Okay, I was gonna say, if my opponent tries to Unholy Heat my 1/1, I can choose to counter that so that the Crackling Drake actually gets blocked, and then Davriel's Withering the 2 Phoenixes. The fact that the opponent continues to hit land drops means that they still have Mystical Dispute up. Would I rather draw 2 with Charm? Or gain 8/9 life? I think I'd rather gain this life. They do probably have Dispute from the looks of it, which means they're doing 10 damage with the Crackling Drake here if they choose to dispute this Charm. They do not choose to do so. Alright, let's Withering a Phoenix. Let's Withering a Phoenix. Let's gain some life. Let's play Narset through Mystical Dispute. I guess I'm cycling Shark Typhoon to gain some life and protect the Narset? Untapping with Narset is a decent use of Shark Typhoon, considering it also draws a card while we're doing it. We've eliminated 3 of their Phoenixes. Unholy Heat. Now that just seems like that was extremely wrong. Surely they were supposed to try to swing the Crackling Drake at face and Unholy Heat the Narset? Okay. 1 Davriel's Withering doesn't accomplish very much. I can pull from 2 to get around Mystical Dispute. I could also Withering this Crackling Drake now, which means I take 1 less damage. They need to cast more spells for it to be lethal. Then pull for 4 and have the opponent counter the pull for 4. If they counter the pull for 4, the Crackling Drake goes up to 10 power. We know our other Shark Typhoon is on the bottom. I could pull for 2 now, and then Davriel's Withering. What are the odds I can ever beat any counterspell anyway? I don't know. I think I'm supposed to pull for 2. Okay, Drowned Loch's good. I think I want to play it around Mystical Dispute, though. I don't think I want to Davriel's Withering this Drake. They might have Negate, in which case the Drowned Loch isn't good enough, but I think they're supposed to negate the pull if they have a Negate. Get to cycle Fetid Pools. Narset's fine. Narset may actually even be good, almost. Okay, Davriel's Withering's excellent, because it means 1 counterspell isn't good enough. Okay, 2 could be. What do I do if they have Negate and Mystical Dispute? Start with Drowned Loch, then Withering? No, they have enough mana to do that. This definitely always starts with Drowned Loch, I think. I don't think I'm baiting the opponent into negating Mystical, or to negating Narset. So they had a Mystical Dispute, sure. Then what, opponent? Then another Mystical Dispute. Wow, that's a lot of counterspells. Okay, well, are we out of counterspells? We are out of counterspells. I'm very happy I didn't try to play the Narset. Not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream at the moment, no. Chandra. Okay, upticks to try to draw a card, hits Prismari Command, does 2 damage to my face, and makes a treasure? No, loots because they could hit Ox. Yeah, looting's good for them here. I could be in a huge amount of trouble right now. Oh no, I guess Narset is kind of fine against Ox, but then they'd still have a Chandra in play. Archmage's Charm is interesting. I was planning on just Haul to kill the Chandra, but developing Narset with Archmage's Charm backup might be better. Shuts off a lot of their cards. I think I'm going for Narset. Aether Gust seems radical. I could Aether Gust the Chandra now, but I don't see that as actually being good. They still just get a top deck that I don't have a counterspell to. Why not wait until upkeep to kill with the Drake? On the off chance that they had... I don't remember how much mana they had. I don't know if it made a difference, to be honest, but... Did they have enough mana to cast another... Ooh, no, I don't want you having Crackling Drake, opponent. So we're gonna counter it. I guess I could Aether Gust that, but then they draw it next turn. Yeah, I guess they had 5 mana available. So there wasn't really a difference between doing it at sorcery speed and doing it at upkeep, unless my opponent was like playing some kind of tricky 6 mana counterspell, which, to be fair, I don't think they were doing. Yeah, I don't think I want to Aether Gust that. I think I just want it to not be on the board. I think I'm activating Narset here. Yeah, I was gonna say, Go Blank is one of the more interesting cards I could hit here. Does that mean that I don't attack Chandra and Go Blank instead? I guess Ox actually isn't a good draw for them anyway because I've got a Narset in play. No, I think I'm still supposed to kill this Chandra. Doing it on their own keep taps them out so they can't play Chandra at the same turn. Oh, why did I do all of that stuff at sorcery speed instead of just playing the final 2 removal spells at sorcery speed? Because depending on what kind of counterspells my opponent had, if they didn't have anything, I would get to play the Narset. But I wanted to know what happened with my removal spells before I chose whether to play the Narset or not. Take the play. I don't think we're allowed to keep this. Probably. Tempting, though. Alright, we're keeping this. Because, I don't really have alternatives. I guess I should get rid of the Pathway. Playing Watery Grave tapped on turn 1 into Hall of the Storm Giants. Alright, Sorin is a very, very good first draw. Opponent is on something. Chris, do you have any hopes for ban/changes to coming tomorrow as well as buff/nerfs? Ooh, playset. I don't have any specific hopes, necessarily. I've mostly been playing Alchemy lately, and I think that format's in a pretty stellar spot, and I don't think that it needs any buffs or nerfs. Well, or rather, I don't think that it needs any rebalancing. But I would be excited to see buffs on cards that don't currently see play. I think that's generally just a good thing for the format that probably could happen regularly. Just gonna uptick the Sorins for card advantage. Yeah, put that 1-drop in hand. That's like drawing real cards for 1 life. Now I'm picturing some kind of ad. You know, like those really over-the-top used car ads about screaming deals and stuff like that? I feel like Sorin the Mirthless could have a Crazy Sorin's Hot Deals ad playing on public access television. But yeah, beyond Alchemy, I don't really... Or I also hope that there will be an Alrund's Epiphany ban in Standard. I think that would make Standard more fun, even if I'm not necessarily playing Standard anytime soon. Settle the Wilds. Our opponent wants to get an 8-drop. What 8-drops are in Standard? Or I guess this is actually Historic, isn't it? Search... Historic, CMC, 8, Craterhoof, Indra's Forerunners, Magma Opus, Polyraptor, Ugin. It's gotta be Ugin. Yeah, alright, I'll counter that and not feel good about it. Because I can't actually remove an Ugin. Key to the Archive. Interesting. Thanks, Spartans. I had a lot of fun on the podcast. Oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of the Demonic Tutor, not the Fatal Push. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Thank you, Inquisition. Good timing. Why not just counter the Ugin? Because then they get the Ugin plus a land, and they could maybe be top-decking towards Ulamog if they hit the land. Ugin is banned? I don't think Ugin's banned in any formats. So am I just... Oh, no, I'm not swinging with Hall of the Storm Giants, because Fatal Push definitely kills Hall of the Storm Giants. That puts me in a predicament. Ugin is banned in Brawl. Oh, okay. That's a strange choice. I guess, is the logic supposed to be that Ugin is an oppressive commander? Oh hey, commit to memory with an Narset in play seems like a really good draw. Oh, okay, that's fair. Playing a colorless commander, probably not radical. Okay, let's bounce this Key to the Archive, because we're going to Memory Deluge anyway. Oh, we're done? Why am I thinking every card from the grave that like draws cards is Memory Deluge? Oh, because the card is actually called Memory. Alright, that one's more forgivable than keep on referring... Wait, no, hold on, I know how grammar works. This is a more forgivable mistake than repeatedly referring to Pull from Tomorrow as Memory Deluge by accident. There we go. Does anyone here think Grixis Control will be good next set? By next set, do you mean Kamigawa? Or do you mean New Capenna? Because I don't know if there's going to be... I mean, it could be. I think the Grixis Control was pretty reasonable in Standard this set, too. But, Grixis in specific, I believe New Capenna is supposed to be all 3 color combinations, and it's probably going to be the Shards of Alara colors, the wedges. So I imagine we're going to get, at the very least, like a Triome for Grixis at that point, which should go a long way towards helping Grixis be playable. Don't give people false hopes. Chris, those are shards. Are they? The shards come from Shards of Alara? That might seem reasonable. I think I can believe that. Let's get rid of some of these removal spells and bring in some of these things that do literally anything at all. Am I supposed to play Go Blank against the opponent? Are we on Plan Mind Rot against Ramp Deck? I feel like I'm probably on Plan Mind Rot against Ramp Deck. I think. Is that better than Shark Typhoon? Who's ever played a removal spell and been happy about it? that logic, it's not called Wedges of Tarkir. That's true. So shouldn't it be the shards and the cons? When play Grixis can defeat anything. I'm feeling kind of hurt. Y'all do know that I registered Grixis in Standard for the last major tournament, right? Actually, I also registered Grixis in Alchemy for the last major tournament, too. Come to think of it, I've registered a lot of Grixis lately. How'd that go for you? Yeah, it went pretty well in Standard, at least. Made it to day 2 of the set championship, and that's something. Oh, opponent, that's so many ramp spells. Turn 3 Settle the Wilds, always giving key to the archive, is a pretty cool interaction. Easy Golos? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not super in love with the fact that Settle the Wilds gives them a land and a Golos when they cast it on turn 4. Provided they do that instead of key. I guess if I take Settle the Wilds... I don't know, I mean, Settle the Wilds are 2-for-1. That kind of scares me. Alright, we'll take Golos. I'm not sure, though. Maybe it's Sultai Ultimatum? I don't think so. We haven't seen any blue, at the very least. 2 cards in the yard. But if they play Key, that's another card in the yard for Drowned Loch. Oh, that's cute. Beanstalk into Settle. But then that gets a 7-drop. I guess they have a 7-drop? No, wait, didn't that only seek one thing? Yeah, they totally just didn't have a 7-drop to get, so that sequencing didn't work out for them very well, I don't think. I don't feel like I'm going to play Sorin against my opponent's ramp deck, when I can hold up a counterspell instead. 3 cards in the yard. Beanstalker is a 7, that's true. So maybe they're just playing the one Beanstalker, and didn't really think about the implications of playing that out. Let's commit the key. Opponent shuffles away the key. Alright. Wait, does this only shuffle a... Oh, it shuffles a... seeks a permanent, not a non-permanent. Interesting. Didn't think about that. Oh, 1 card in hand, opponent. Current access to 9 mana. No, 8 mana. We'll play Sorin. What's the worst that could happen? Get a land. Play our tap land. Probably gonna be fine. Okay. But I have a removal spell for Sorin. I feel bad. But we already got our card draw off of it. Something tells me this Jwari Disruption isn't super likely to be useful here. But also, I got lots of lands, so whatever. I'm a long way away from actually killing that Beanstalk, so, or with Drowned Loch specifically. So I guess I'm committing. Don't really want my opponent drawing a threat, but can't stop them from doing it. Hey, Narset! I feel like I'm going to set up a Narset memory combo. That seems good. As tempting as it is to take a hand hate spell here, I don't have the ability to play the hand hate spell and hold up Drowned Loch so that I could counter a removal spell on my Narset. Ugin. Yeah, that's a bummer. Alright, that's pretty awful. What's the story behind this deck's extremely JoJo name? The story is that I have a running rule that if I can't think up a good pun for a deck name, I default to finding a Prince song that seems like it fits a tiny bit instead. And it just so happens that JoJo also names things after Prince songs consistently. Oh, they uptick to kill the Narset. Those punks. Alright. I don't have a lot of Planeswalker removal, so this could be a huge problem. But at least this forces them to downtick the Ugin, so it's a little further away from ultimating. Or they uptick the Ugin, so that it's not. That's true. I guess they could just ignore my Sorin. That is an option. No, Ugin is only banned in Brawl, apparently. I didn't even realize it was banned there. Well, Aether Gust isn't awful, but how am I answering this Ugin? I don't actually have Planeswalker removal, so this feels like it will be a problem. I guess all I have to do is answer all of my opponent's permanents, and then Shark Typhoon for 1 to kill the Ugin after they ultimate it? I'm sure that'll be super easy and not a problem at all. If they draw 7 cards, there's no downside to memory. Well, there is, because they don't keep the 7 cards in hand. They're going to put most of the 7 cards on the battlefield. So then they do still get to draw 7 new cards. Definitely still a downside, unfortunately. Alright, that could have been a lot worse. I actually think I can handle that somehow. Which is sort of a bizarre thing to say. The Castle Lochthwain, that really sucks. Not a fan of that. Also super not a fan of this Thought Distortion that gets rid of my memories. That also sucks a lot. Okay, so we Aether Gust. Do you shuffle? No. Right, so they can... Oh, I messed this up. I was supposed to Drown and Lock the Golos first. Shoot. I forgot they could activate Golos at instant speed. Yeah, so I just gave them the ability to play a Beanstalk Giant for no reason here. Well, luckily, I think we still have, like, a chance. That Castle Lochthwain's still going to be a problem. Okay. I can't actually cast this Go Blank. If I cast the Go Blank, then I can't top deck a Lier or a Drown in the Loch to kill the Beanstalk Giant. Because a Lier, I guess a Lier would still hit Aether Gust. That might still be fine. Okay. We found another Gargaroth. Gargaroth isn't directly lethal, but that's a lot of lands. What do I have in my graveyard? Oh no, Thought Distortion exiled my whole graveyard, so Lier isn't any good, isn't it? Right. 2 Drown in the Lochs remaining. Gargaroth's gonna hit Sorin. Yeah, that's still a no on the Go Blank, though. This game isn't unwinnable. Depending on what the opponent hits. Oh, actually, Golos and World Tree with Key to the Archive is a pretty cool synergy. But yeah, I just died at... Yeah, that works. Alright, I guess I could have played around that by go blanking. Yes, the thought distortion was not necessarily immediately going to kill us. Don't know if it's possible for them to whiff on key there. Yeah, I think literally every hit got them pretty close to lethal. At the very least, it is... Okay, so Counterspell isn't great for them, although it does still win the game. Approach is probably the worst card they could get. Growth Spiral. Alright, Growth Spiral is not good. Let's see. I still don't really have alternatives. I don't know. I guess I can play Sorin on the play on turn 4 and not be upset. Wrath wasn't good. That's true. Oh, true. Doomblade doesn't hit the creature we had in play because we had a black creature in play. Fair, fair. Alright. I guess I don't need to play this Watery Grave on turn 1. I don't need to have Drown in the Loch up until turn 3? Really? Oh, I guess I could draw an Inquisition and that punishes me for not shocking Watery Grave. That's true. With this many cards in hand, I feel like the card I want to take here is Explore. I guess I might as well play Hall. Definitely gonna Inquisition Settle, I think? Yeah, because I can't Drown a Loch it anyway. Okay. Opponent has nothing and is living off the top decks. Alright. Okay, Hive of the Eye Tyrant. That hurts. That makes me sad. They get to do that next turn? I have nothing I can hit with Narset here that's meaningful. Oh, no, hold on. I need to downtick here. Because they could hit Binding of the Old Gods, and that punishes me for leaving up Narset, so it survives the Hive attack. Hobbs XD, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. What did that last card do, the last one you described? The last one that I discarded? Settle the Wilds. It's a 3-mana card that seeks a basic land and puts it into play tapped, and then goes and grabs a card from your deck and puts it in a hand that is a permanent card with CMC equal to the number of lands that you have in play. So if you, like, say, have 3 lands in play and play Settle the Wilds, you put a land into play and put a 4-drop in your hand. It's really good. Really, really good. Just actually ramp and card advantage at the same time. Mana value. Mana value, mana value, mana value. That's what the kids are calling it these days. Shifting Ceratops is... Yeah, opponent's got a lot of anti-control cards over there, huh? I feel like I'm possibly in trouble. I can't block that with Hall of the Storm Giants. Can't do anything to it with Hullbreaker. Maybe if I hit enough land drops, I can play Hullbreaker and race it? Maybe? Is that, like, a thing? I would probably rather pull for 3 here than go blank the opponent in this spot. Sorin down ticking at least chump blocks it for a little bit. Spikefield is interesting in that it's like a really good modal double-faced card, but it's completely contextual whether it is terrible or excellent, depending on the context of the format that it's being played in at the time. Which is to say, it's a card that has variable playability based on the metagame. That's, on the whole of things, probably a good thing. Oh, the opponent's going to play a land, and that Beanstalk Giant's going to be an 8/8, and I'm not going to be able to block with Hullbreaker Horror, and that means I'm not going to be able to erase the Shifting Ceratops. Radical. Super exciting. Very happy about this. Well, I feel like I have been successfully top-decked out of this game on account of... I don't think I can do anything here. I could go blank their hand and then down-tick Sorin and, like, not technically be dead right now? But that makes these Drowning Locks real embarrassing. I don't think go blanking is correct. Other than, I guess it means Hullbreaker Horror might be better next turn if their Beanstalk Giant never makes it past an 8/8. Don't think I'm go blanking here. As fun as it would be to be able to down-tick Sorin again and actually line up a double block on Shifting Ceratops. I wondered if they were going to animate Hive. I guess that rewarded me for playing the Fetid Pools, but I felt like I wanted to be able to cycle Fetid Pools if they didn't do anything. I guess it was unlikely they were going to do nothing. Okay. Well, now this is interesting. The Ceratops gets trample, so there's no way I can stop my Sorin from dying, but what if I top deck another Sorin? I could choose to take this damage from the Beanstalk this turn. I'm definitely planning to kill the Hive. The question is, do I block Beanstalk or do I take 7? Oh, take 6. Interesting. Does that change anything at all? I have no idea. Go to 3 against a Trampler? Well, being at 3 or 4 against the Ceratops is fine, because the Vampire still... I think I'm supposed to, because I think top-decking Sorin in this position is one of the best things that can happen to me. Did not succeed at top-decking Sorin. Alright, where does that leave us? Yeah, opponent did misplay at 1 damage by not playing the land pre-combat, but also the opponent played a Lier, and that's actually kind of awful for me, huh? Well, I'm not dead. I just don't know how I'm answering this Ceratops is all. What can we draw that answers this Ceratops? I guess a Sorin still means that I'm not dead. We do represent activating the Hall. Hall cannot block Ceratops because Hall turns into a blue permanent. Why did we activate Lier? Oh, to give Ceratops trample. Also, opponent didn't play a land? Oh, not playing a land is good for me. Means Horror actually gets to block Giant here? So we block Giant and Lier. Go to 1. Okay. I don't have Fatal Push in. Oh, okay, so we need Sorin. We need Sorin. If we drew Sorin, we were really close to winning because I could attack with Hullbreaker Horror. And then set up an attack with Hullbreaker plus Hull next turn. We can maybe still do that if we find Sorin off of Archmage's Charm. We're at 1, but that's fine. Trampler doesn't matter, because Shifting Ceratops only does 5 damage, and Sorin's token blocks 3 and gains 2. Come on, Sorin. No, we were so close to cheesing a win we had no right to. We were so close. Well, almost. Opponent has a lot of anti-control sideboard cards. I had a Drowned Loch to answer the creature land. So if we had a Sorin, we had exactly enough mana to stay alive and probably win. Unless they top deck something. To be fair, the Ceratops didn't solo us, necessarily. It had help from a very, very large giant. Are we supposed to have Drown and Blank in the same deck? So that matchup isn't really one that I would consider when evaluating Drown versus Go Blank and how they're synergistic. The matchups where I think Go Blank is good, generally it's not a super huge deal that Drown in the Loch gets turned off by Go Blank, because generally the decks where Go Blank is actually worth boarding in refill their graveyards so fast and have permanents that are low enough CMC that Drown in the Loch kind of like is instantly turned back on just by them attempting to do stuff anyway. But there's a very strong argument that possibly I wasn't supposed to board in Go Blank against a ramp deck where it was just a Mind Rot with downside. Yeah, I think I do want Archmage's Charm against this deck. I could have boarded in Shark Typhoon instead, possibly. Was it right to eat the land creature instead of the Beanstalk since we can bounce the giant with the Horror? Maybe. I wasn't too concerned about the land since I had Drown in the Loch, but maybe I was supposed to be because it meant that I could do less cantripping and still have enough mana to play a Sorin at the end of the cantripping cycle. Am I supposed to hold up Archmage's Charm or Inquisition Fetid Pools here? I'll Inquisition. Because my opponent could very explicitly have an expressive iteration. It's nice to know that that was successful. I could cycle the Fetid Pools here. I'm greedy enough to do that. I'm desperate to make this land drop, but search for Azcanta, maybe it'll make the land drop on its own. And then I'm just rewarded for turbo putting cards in the graveyard. Alright, Davriel's Withering was a very bad draw. It's fine, we'll just hit the land drops normally. We did not. We did not hit the land drops normally. Still, I actually think there is some merit to just turbo dumping cards in pursuit of counterspells, because all we have to do to win this matchup is never let the opponent resolve a Niv. Hey, there we go. Alright. Now the bad news is that Kolaghan's Command is another Niv. Lier? Nah. Today, Lier fuels the search for Azcanta. How many cards have been in the yard? 5? Nah, I still don't need lands. I do want lands, so it's good that you're giving them to me, deck. Okay, now we actually get to play Narset, which, if we're lucky, we can bait the Kolaghan's Command with 2 cards. Drowned and Inquisition are both pretty good here. I think I'll take Drowned Loch. It feels slightly better. Lightning Helix. Oh. Opponent didn't even let me draw 2 cards off of it. But they are putting cards in the yard. So our Drowned Loch is very close to online against Niv. Thoughtseize. Do I want Thoughtseize? Do they have any creatures in the yard? They don't, so we could Thoughtseize our opponent here. Alright. Considering my search for Azcanta is transforming anyway, I will accept that. Getting the Kolaghan's Command out of their hand before they can actually draw a card with it seems good to me. Yeah, I'm going to discard this Davriel's Withering opponent. Thank you for helping me make room in my hand. None of these are worth anything. So, alright. I think I'm going to not take Deafening Clarion here. I guess Fatal Push actually hits my Hall is a reason to do that. I can definitely defend that choice. Also, it's Shark Typhoon tokens. 3/6 land drop. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we can definitely hardcast a Shark Typhoon here. No problem. Alright. You gotta love it. Hardcast Shark Typhoon. Too strong. Absolutely delightful. Iago 2K10 MTG, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. So let's see. Commit, yes. Aether Gusts, yes. Pull from Tomorrow's, probably. Hullbreaker, probably. Shark Typhoon, maybe. Removal spells, no. Infernal Grasp, no. Kaervek, no. Sorin? Sorin... Don't know why, but Dimir control is so much more satisfying than Azorius control. It's certainly very fun to get to play with Drown in the Loch and a bunch of hand hate spells, isn't it? Do they play a... Oh, they do play Kavus now, don't they? That's stupid Modern Horizons Kavu. Oh... I got Aether Gust for that, I guess. Definitely supposed to play an Infernal Grasp over a Sorin. There's no way I'm supposed to play Fatal Push. I'm gonna play Fatal Push. They could definitely play Ceratops too. That's not out of the realm of question. That was something we considered while brewing up Niv Mizzet. I don't want to get beat by things that can't be countered. It'd be kind of lame. Alright, well... These are cards. And 2 lands. Alright. That's one half of a Kavu, but not the green half. That's the other half of a Kavu, but not the untapped half. There's a Kavu. What do you think, opponent? You got a way to protect your Kavu? No. No protecting the Kavu. Success! Successfully sided out Sorin for the Infernal Grasp and were immediately rewarded. No. Stop playing threats. Not allowed. No threats. No threats in this house. Only card draw. And counter spells. Ooh. Card draw and counter spells. Oh no, but if you have to do card draw and counter spells, how do you choose between them? I guess I have one pull already and I don't really have land drops. Grafdigger's Cage. What did they see that made them side that in? Just assuming I'm on Lier? They'd be correct, but... Oh no! All of these cards are good! Which one do I take? It's probably Archmage's Charm because I want more counter spells. Oh, we did throw away a Lier, that's true. That probably gives it away a lot, come to think of it. Alright, well, opponent, I would like to get aggressive. How many Lightning Helix did you keep in? Oh, alright. Interesting timing for an Inquisition. Why not? What you got over there, opponent? Answer. Oh, a Thought Distortion. Oh, no. Absolutely not, opponent. Absolutely not. I have felt that before, and I do not want to feel it again. What, you're not going to Vanishing Verse my 3/3 opponent? Strange, but alright. Oh, I love Thoughtseize so much. It helps this out quite a bit. I mean, I could pull from tomorrow for 4 here, but I could also wait and then pull from tomorrow for more later. I don't see the reason to pull from tomorrow now if I could pull for more later. More seems bigger than 4. I'm kind of guessing on the math, but I think it works out. Hey, cool. That seems like an interesting time to concede, but I'll take it. It took me so long to be convinced that Thoughtseize was actually a playable card. I hated the idea of, what if I top deck it and my opponent is empty-handed? Then it doesn't do anything. I learned how to play Magic by playing Limited for a very long time, and it turns out Thoughtseize is like such a garbage card in Limited that the idea of, well, who cares if your opponent's empty-handed, then you've already won. Took a while for that concept to actually apply. Not apply, but be self-evident, I suppose. Cool, none of this is Trail of Crumbs, so we're just going to take that goose. Matchup against Trail of Crumb decks are what I think probably is the biggest part of this deck not really being stellar. Ooh, Sorin's cool though. I was considering if possibly we could splash green in this deck for, there's a 4-mana board wipe in green-black. Sure, that's a Squirtle. And it destroys all permanents with CMC 2 or less, then lets you add a green or black mana to your mana pool for each card destroyed that way. sort of wonder if that would be a good card against these green-black / Jund lists. Oh, I also meant to possibly play Meathook Massacre and forgot about that. Whoops. All these are kind of interesting, but are they actually good? I do not know. I do not know. I guess I'll take Withering. Yeah, what happens if you have a hand of 3 Thoughtseizes and your opponent's empty-handed and just top deck something? How bad does that feel? No! They found the red source. My life is made complicated. Ah! How many cards do you get in the graveyard, opponent? 2? Alright. I mean, Drowning Mayhem Devil is interesting. I'm allowed to do that. Archmage's Charm also interesting, but doesn't answer Mayhem Devil. So I guess I'm going to take this. And I guess I'm going to Withering the cat. And I guess I'm going to Drown the Devil. That's a sentence and a half. Alright, I've played my land, opponent. Howdy duckles. How goes it? Oh, I guess I just got a Sorin and downtick. It feels like that's vulnerable to a lot of removal. No, why would I downtick when I can just uptick the Sorin instead? Real that card? Heck yeah. Put it in my hand. I feel like I continually need to convince myself not to say "hurt me, Daddy Sorin" all the time. So I feel if I embrace that lifestyle, I'm going to be saying that way too often. And it feels like it's got to be a once-in-a-while kind of thing. Face opponent? That's awful bravery. Awfully bravery of you. Alright, let's cycle this Fetid Pool before we decide what to do with the Sorin. Alright, Hull actually blocking the Mayhem Devil next turn sounds kinda cool. I feel like that means I'm just chump blocking for the time being with this Archmage's Charm up. Removal spell? No. Could counter that. Do I want to? Countering it protects the Sorin better. But gives them a 5/5? 5/5 might not matter because of all the Storm Giants. But if they have more removal spells... No. Very well, opponent. I don't think I can risk you just resolving a Trail of Crumbs next turn. Yeah, this time around Sorin's the one who gets to take 3 damage. What's the plan here, opponent? Land drop? Azcanta. Yeah. Well, I do have to counter that, I think. Not really comfortable not countering it. This leaves me in a strange position of not having anything, though. Okay, Kaervek. I could just put Kaervek on the board. It does make some stuff weaker. A bit. Does Kaervek turn off Cat Oven? Sort of, although their Cat Oven combo is already made slightly awkward by the fact that their cat has negative toughness already. Kaervek is worse than just blocking with Hull, but we've got to consider that they won't attack with Mayhem Devil if we just leave up Hull up. So yes, we prevent them from attacking, but we're not developing our board. And playing Kaervek actually is developing the board, in a way. I'm not convinced this is right by any means, but I am interested in whether or not it's right. This also makes Lier better. Yeah, Trail of Crumbs was literally the worst possible thing that could happen. That's true. Ooh. Alright, so opponent thinks they have some other creature here that they can play. Hit a Gilded Goose. Of course, why not? Sure. Yeah. Okay. So by playing Kaervek, though, we made Lier into an answer for Mayhem Devil because we have a Withering in the yard. And we have as many Liers as we do Witherings in the deck currently. Yeah, the opponent top-decking the worst possible 3 cards in a row was bad for us. That's not true. Witch's Oven could have been a Trail of Crumbs and it would have been worse. But I need to answer Mayhem Devil and Gilded Goose this turn, and I don't think I have any way to do that. Cool. Alright, well, that was a turn of magic, I guess. Trail of Crumbs. It's a Magic the Gathering card. We were dead on board? Yeah. Goose makes a crumb. Cat comes back. Witch's Oven sacks Goose. Cat comes back. Mayhem Devil sacked. So we were dead before we untapped, I suppose? Alright, we want Aether Gust. We want Shadow's Verdict. I forget if I actually wanted Hullbreaker Horror against that or not. I was convinced that I wanted to trim some Witherings. I don't recall how many Fatal Pushes I kept in. I think it was some. I think I played more Commit to Memory. I don't think I played Shark Typhoon. I wonder how much Sorin changes the context of this match. I don't believe that I played Kaervek. I do believe I played more answers to Goose. I did definitely play 2 Pull for Tomorrows. I'm 100% confident in that. Less commit? What's the other cut? Narset? Because all it is a draw 2? Maybe? Or did I just play fewer Witherings than this? Did I just play 4 Fatal Pushes and that was it? I think that might have been it. I might not have played Witherings. How many lands do we run? It feels like a lot. I think it's like 27, with 2 being Jwari Disruptions. Whew. We will take the play. We will keep the hand. We get to lead on Inquisition. Oh, hold on. No, this mana's awkward. If I lead on Inquisition, and I can't Jwari Disruption on 2, and I need to be able to Jwari Disruption on 2. Alright, Fetid Pools it is. We're on the play, so Jwari Disruption is an answer to Trail of Crumbs at least. Cauldron Familiar. Alright, that's not scary. Good Inquisition here, but then if they top deck or have 2 Trail of Crumbs, then I don't get to answer Trail of Crumbs. They did indeed have one Trail of Crumbs at the very least. Happy to disallow that. Okay, top decked an Aether Gust, which means I can Inquisition here and still have shields up for Trail of Crumbs. Opponent has a Thoughtseize. I don't think I want them to Thoughtseize me. I could take my Lier, I guess, is probably the most valuable card right now. Cutting Withering versus the Catavan deck feels kind of weird, not saying it's wrong, just sort of funny. Yeah, the weird thing is that it's not actually like super good to Withering a cat. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes it actually helps their engine. On the whole of things, I found it to not be terribly relevant, and Fatal Push occasionally hitting Mayhem Devil has more often been relevant than Withering on a cat actually being a good thing instead of a bad thing. Not Temur Flash. No, I suppose I could look into whether Temur Flash is a good deck. That might be an interesting deck to benefit from Discover the Formula. Huh. Alright, opponent redrawing Squirrel? That seems fine by me. I could just steal a Squirrel. The question is, what ramp do you have in Temur Flash other than Growth Spiral that lets you play a 6-drop? Oh, you have Nissa. Okay. Alright, that's a deck idea. That's going alongside Sanguine Brushstroke and Doom Foretold for things that maybe we try to brew up over the coming week. Is it worth stealing? No, this sacrifices itself if I try to steal it, so actually I should have countered if I wanted to answer it, but we're just going to draw 2 cards. 3-mana Escape to the Wilds with Geist Channeler? Ooh. Oh, you know how to say things that make me so happy inside. Why didn't... Oh, I thought that they were going to put Giganta in hand, but no, they just held out the Ravenous Squirrel activation. That's what happened here that I wasn't expecting. Have I used any 1-drops? Inquisition. That's not stellar in this spot, is it? Alright, let's just plan to pull for 3. That seems reasonable-ish. Wait, are we eating cat? I guess they draw a card. It's not unreasonable. I just didn't really see it coming. I guess having left up the mana sort of makes sense that that would be what they want to do. 3 cards in yard, up to 4. Absolutely under no conditions are you allowed to have a Trail of Crumbs, opponent. We talked about this earlier. Alright, 2 Trail of Crumbs down. Why the snow? They just like pretty colors? This deck doesn't actually have a use for snow, does it? Okay, there's Hall. Do I want to Inquisition my opponent? Does that sound meaningful in any way at all? I think we just Lier and play Hall. You got an answer to Lier, opponent? If you do, then I have to follow up with Hull pull instead. Valky is a use for snow? Does Valky do any interaction with snow? Oh, I guess that if you have Valky and steal a snow spell... Does this... No, whenever you sacrifice for any reason, huh? Okay. Yeah, I'll try not to fall for that, opponent. Okay, so we destroyed the Azcanta. If the opponent attempts to sack it, then we steal the squirrel before they have food. Maybe they just want to play their pixel lands. If being slightly worse against Raidane is an acceptable cost, I accept that as a reason to play pixel lands. Alright, I would like your squirrel now. Thank you. Is it worth attacking with Lier here to get a food out? Yes, because that would make Trail of Crumbs slightly weaker. I have an Aether Gust for the first Trail of Crumbs they find. Okay. Cat back. Sure. But we actually get to race Cauldron Familiar nonsense because we have a Sorin now. Okay. Success! All it took was answering a bunch of Trail of Crumbs. Who could have ever seen that coming? Alright. Let's try again then. And after this, we're going to have to see if there's somewhere to include Meathook Massacre in the deck. If this Shipwreck Marsh was a Watery Grave, I would actually consider keeping this. As it stands, no. Alright, not excited. Not excited at all. I think we keep this so we can play a Thoughtseize on turn 1 or an Inquisition if we happen to draw one to try to fight Trail of Crumbs. Alright. Good work, deck. Oh, no Trail of Crumbs. Oh, okay. Well, what do we do about that? What does opponent not having a Trail of Crumbs mean? They could just turbo out Mayhem Devil next turn. I don't actually have, like, an answer to that. I feel like I want to take Squirrel because I'm afraid of it turning into a card advantage engine with food. No, I guess I am less scared about Squirrel if I have Narset. I'm assuming the Thoughtseize takes Drowned Loch now. But I guess I have a much easier time answering Squirrel with the top deck Fatal Push, which warrants cutting the Mayhem Devil? Maybe? Oh, okay. They didn't take the drown. Well, that means I get to drown the squirrel. Not this turn, but eventually. I guess they get to draw a card with squirrel before I have a chance to drown it, unless I top deck an untapped blue source. Guess what we top decked? It was an untapped blue source. Alright, destroy the squirrel before they can sack the food. Do it. Hope they don't top deck Trail. They top deck Plot this. Alright, I can handle that. That's what commits and Aether Gusts are for. Top deck a Fatal Push. Okay, well, that's an answer to a squirrel if they find it, and a goose if they don't. Still not in love with Clothis, either way. Not a great card to play against. Drain life every turn and make my Liers worse is a bummer. Opponent's got either a 1-mana spell or a land drop. They have a land drop. Alright, let's push a goose. We have land drops to make. Opponent draws a card. I commit Clothis. So this still denies the Clothis trigger, but it's them one card away from getting back to it. Opponent finds a land for Jwari, which we don't love. Jwari Disruption, a turn late, which we don't love. I'm gonna be real sad if I die to a companion. Just because it's a companion. Well, if we draw and pull from tomorrow there would be a chance. But just a fair memory shuts off Drowned in the Lochs. They've already exiled Drowned in the Lochs, so if I hit a Lier next turn, that's not an answer to Azcanta or to Clothis. Still, I think I got to, which kind of just means I lose. I don't think there's anything they can draw here that I don't die to. Yowzas, that hand was just awful. So incredibly awful. How's blue-black position in the meta overall? No clue. The point of today was mostly to figure out what the meta is. It's been a while since I played Historic. Alright. Opponent puts a card in the graveyard for us. That helps make Drown in the Loch better. But they take our card draw spell, which makes me sad. So we go to 4, which is Evan puts us to 3. Oh, okay. Opponent decides not to attack with Cauldron Familiar. I'll take it, I guess. And maybe the opponent has as many lands as we do. Nope. Opponent has extremely good card. That's a bummer. Oh, hey, Lier. Cool. You don't do anything at all. No. Interesting. I lost, like, almost entirely to a Azcanta there. I'm not entirely certain how to feel about that. Oh, wait. Ah, shoot. I wanted to go put Meat Hook Massacres in the deck. Oh, well. Maybe Meat Hook Massacre isn't good enough in Historic. Who knows? We'll take the play. We'll keep the keepable hand. Do we shock on turn 1 to Thoughtseize? Or do we just plan to play the Thoughtseize on 2? Is blue-white control a significant deck in the meta right now? Ooh, clerics, I assume? I guess that means I probably want to take the Thoughtseize? None of these other cards seem important. The most popular according to Untapped? Huh. Oh, Lotus Stifle. Right. That deck actually got popular, huh? I guess there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't handle Strict Proctor. Interesting if so. Alright, that's a lot of lands. Unfortunate that Skyclave Apparition hits Narset, but I guess it doesn't hit it super effectively. Oh, are we playing a Inquisitor deck that's playing Thoughtseize? Is that what's happening? Okay. Sure. Valky released to the Wind deck. Whoa, client? Oh, MTGA is not responding. Cool. Cool. Narset too strong. Let's try restarting. Oh, I see. Proctor hoses the Inquisitor decks. Alright, that I believe. I can believe that. So it's not necessarily that, like, blue-white got better so much as strict Proctor just has more people playing decks that get hosed by it. Alright, come on, Arena. There we go. Alright, what are we getting here? Inquisition, maybe? Inquisition, probably? I already got a Withering for Apparition, so that's fine. I guess probably... Probably Inquisition? Make this Drowned Loch closer to 4? Apparition kills the Narset. Oh, hey, cool, a Narset. Alright, well, I think I still want Inquisition while I know my opponent has something in hand that it can hit. Callous Blood Mage? The standard unplayable card. Here in Historic, what do you even do? 3 mana 2/1, create a 1/1 token with when this dies you gain a life, you draw a card and lose 1 life, you exile target player's graveyard. Why is that relevant? I do not know. Do I play Narset here? I don't think I play Narset here. I think I just pass and see if my opponent, for some reason, plays Glasspool Mimic. Alright, Dusk Legion Zealot resolves. I don't really want to Drown and Lock that, I don't think. Opponent kind enough to show me their whole hand. We will make a 3/3. We will play our Narset. 3 cards in the yard for the opponent. Does not let us counter captains. I'm not going to have enough mana to Fatal Push a 1/1 and then counter a captain. Alright, I guess I'm just taking Narset then because more card advantage sounds rad. Let's attack for 3 because I don't care about my Narset taking damage. Because I'm going to play another Narset anyway. Gives you main deck graveyard hate and 2 bodies. I guess? I mean, it is blinkable. I am going to wind up countering it because I don't want my opponent to draw a card. It just seems like it puts no power on board is the thing. Alright. Sack the Narset. Get some cards. All these cards look good. I guess I'll take more counter spells. Then we'll go to combat and attack the opponent for 3, and I guess I'm just going to keep out aggroing my opponent. And draw more cards. Hey, Sorin sounds fun. I don't know when I'm ever going to have the mana to cast Sorin, so it's probably the wrong choice, but it sounds fun. Elvish Visionary has an important advantage of being an elf. Much like Dusk Legion Zealot has the important advantage of being a vampire, which Callous Blood Mage is a vampire, but 3 mana is a lot more than 2. Like at least 50% more than 2. Wait, was I concerned about their card advantage while I had an Narset in play? I think I was. I don't think that's how that works. Well, they would have made a 1/1. Who wants to play against a 1/1? We drew lands, so we get to play Sorin. That sounds fun. Instant speed graveyard hate off of Coco. You could convince me that's actually a reason to play it. I still don't know if that makes it good, but it does sound like a reason that it would be playable. Probably more so as a sideboard card than a mainboard card, I would think, but I'm not the person who's familiar with the format. Let's see. If my opponent's playing Callous Blood Mage and Soul Herder and at least some other 1/1s, I think I'm supposed to board in Kaerveks and probably Shadow's Verdicts. Sorin seems fine. How do we feel about Inquisition and Thoughtseizes? Inquisition probably fine. Thoughtseize, I don't know. Does this deck even have anything good that costs more than 3 mana? I kinda doubt it. Is Narset decent? Maybe? I could play more Fatal Pushes, but they're like all 3 drops, so that's not wicked exciting. Could play more Shark Typhoons, I guess. Is that decent? We need Tibalt answers? Why do we... Wait, why would they play Tibalt and why do we need answers to Tibalt? Oh, is this playing Release to the Winds? Is that the idea? Huh. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's a thing you're allowed to do. Alright, well, fine. We'll play more Thoughtseizes then. As for answers to Volky, I feel like we have plenty. Like, super plenty. Most of the deck plenty. I should also play Pull from Tomorrow, because always post-board Pull from Tomorrow. We can trim a Narset, like, I don't know, maybe a Lier. Maybe an Infernal Grasp. Yeah, probably. Yeah, so if you release to the wind a 2-mana Tibalt, then you can cast the 7. How do we decide on pull instead of Deluge? I feel like when you untap with pull and cast it for X equals 4, it's a lot easier to just win the game. I forget all the reasons that I had on why pull was better than Deluge, to be honest. Which shows how rusty I am at the format. But I feel like I had reasons why pull was better than Deluge, and so I'm trusting past me. I think it mostly was that, like, Deluge had to get to 7 mana to be good, and that most of the time that I was boarding in pull... Oh, right. The big reason is because I don't know what decks play Graveyard Hate, and post-board as a Lier deck, my opponents are always boarding in as much Graveyard Hate as they typically can, whether that be Rest in Peace or Grafdigger's Cage, and Pull from Tomorrow does a better job of fighting the opponent's plans to deny us card advantage by shutting off our grave, whereas Memory Deluge just plays into that problem. We're down to 1 Azcanta now. We trimmed 1 Azcanta for Sorin's. This is fine. I'm not going to mulligan this. It would be a lot happier if this Shipwreck Marsh came in untapped, but it'll be fine. We'll just draw lands. We'll just draw a Watery Grave. Azcanta and pull is synergy. That's true. That's true. It's usually not synergy that's, like, hugely important, necessarily, because you usually have ample card advantage with either of them, but really like Sylvan in this deck. Can Sylvan block? Murgod? God? Merfolk? What's the actual name of that card? Sylveon? Well, what do you know? It wasn't Sylveon. Sylvan? Sylvan? No, wait, there's a ton of elven stuff all called Sylvan. Oh no, Adonto Vanguard! Whatever will I do, opponent? That's such a scary card. It's completely indestructible. Oh yeah, alright. Opponent is on a Valky deck. I feel like what I want to get rid of is Fibblethip here, though. Svelun. That's it. Alright, so they play Valky and get rid of my Lier. And I pretend to be sad. Uh-huh, opponent? Yep. Mm-hmm. I got a hand of cards. Oh no, my opponent has access to 4 whole mana next turn. Whatever will I do? Do I take this punch from Adanto Vanguard? To play around, release to the wind. I guess. I don't think my life total is in too much danger. Okay. Opponent was kind enough to tell me that they don't have release to the wind in hand, so now I get to remove the Adanto. If they had just played the Bright Climb Pathway and left one unknown card in hand, I wouldn't have gotten to use this mana. Which, considering that currently I am constrained on my mana sources, that would have been bad for me. So we gonna kill this Valky. Should I? I should probably take the 2 damage from the Valky to play around my opponent top decking Inquisitor Captain. I feel like I've got plenty of life right now. Oh, no. No, I should not. Because the opponent's going to be able to turn Valky into a 5-drop that's immune to both Fatal Push and Drown Loch, so I just got to kill this thing now. Well, I guess I could Drown Loch the Valky. No, I can't. It's 4 after the Thoughtseize? I thought I moused over it and it was 4 before the Thoughtseize. Either way. Valky died before Valky can be Lier. Whoop. There we go. Okay. It had actually been a while since I got the Fatal Push lagging out thing. Soul Herder. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, land drops is cool. You wanna punch me for 1, opponent? Another Soul Herder. They should have definitely post-combated that because they would have gotten in 1 more damage. But we'll go ahead and kill this Soul Herder then. Yeah, probably best Withering the Soul Herder. Or am I going to pull for 2? Pulling for 2 doesn't sound exciting, but I guess it gets us closer to a land drop for Lier. Draw 2, discard 1. Kind of just loots. That's so boring. But playing Lier is so strong. Yeah, I guess I'm probably just looting. Because I get to have pull in the graveyard after Lier resolves, and then I can do it for 3. So that's cool. Does cutlery really need to be washed? I feel like yes. Isn't the answer to that yes? Oh yeah, look at that Jwari Disruption we get to throw away. Success. Oh, Kaervek. That might even be cooler than Lier. Alright. New plan. New plan is turn most of our opponent's creatures into non-creatures. Wait, I guess, are they non-creatures if they're dead? I guess they're more like X creatures, huh? Let's try Inquisition. It's just a land. Why would I wither Kaervek? Kaervek's doing work. If anything, I want to give Kaervek a raise. Alright, well, we got lethal next turn. The card formerly known as Creature. Yeah, Adanto Vanguard. Extremely good against Kaervek. Famously so. Get to pull for 4. Don't need to. Still have lethal anyway, but, you know. It's more fun to do it this way. Interesting. Now that is a Diamond Tier 1 rank I can't say that I've ever achieved before. Who wants to hazard a guess how far we are from Mythic currently? Wow, that might be the least effective Fetch Socks redemption in the history of this channel. We'll keep. Not only did Socks not want to stick around, he actively wound up further away from the camera than he was before the redemption got enacted. Dang. Kinda harsh. Alright, well, looks like the opponent's playing a deck where presumably we will be happy to find a Kaervek. Life gain, life gain, life gain, life gain. I'm going to take this Voice of the Blessed. I wouldn't describe that meow as angry so much as impatient, perhaps. Yeah, opponent, I promise you I have no intention of playing creatures. Do not worry. I am not particularly flushed for things that I can do currently. I guess I can eventually Archmage's Charm their Esper Sentinel next turn, can't I? No! So they gain like infinity life, but do they have any way to use gaining like infinity life? We did not put the meat hooks in. I sort of forgot about that part of the plan. But it'll be fine. We're going to find removal spells sooner or later. Probably. Okay, I actually do get to play the Search for Azcanta this turn. The enchantment that recurs a wonder. Oh, I remember that thing. Except I don't remember anything about it. How much mana does it cost? I don't need more lands right now. Well, Drowning the Loch's kind of interesting. I guess. Costs 3. Alright, well that's going to be tricky. Voice of the Blessed, huh? Oh, that's wicked rude. I really wanted to steal an Esper Sentinel this turn. I guess I could just ignore it. Alright. 'Tis ignored. As long as this thing dies before it... Oh, right, I'm supposed to Archmage's Charm before they attack, because I can't Archmage's Charm after they attack. Right. Okay, just taking a little bit of extra damage that I wasn't supposed to. It's fine. Thoughtseize? Nah. Okay, Davriel's Withering's cool. So we get to Withering Sentinel. Wait. Oh, that's cute. I've never noticed this interaction before. I can cast a spell, trigger Sentinel, and respond to that Sentinel trigger by Withering the Sentinel, so I have to pay 0? That's adorable. Unfortunately, I can't drown in the Loch, the Voice of the Blessed, and then Withering the Sentinel. Because Drown in the Loch only... it has to on cast target something legal, and Voice isn't legal until after Sentinel dies. I guess I could commit the Voice. Is that fine? I guess that's fine. Yeah, I think this works. Wow, it auto-pays the 0? I don't even get the option to force them to draw the card? Really? I didn't think that was how that worked. Huh. Is that correct, or is that a bug? The Xardum. No, the Xarnindum. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Let's play the Narset, why not? Let's take the Drowned Loch, why not? Alright, I think we win. Who needed lands? Them, I guess. I was going to say not me, but I guess I've actually been making land drops. I'm thinking of a different game. Yeah, 2 things in there? Yeah. Alright. That card resolves. Pony, you can gain a bunch of life. Seems fine. I got no complaints. With full control, it probably lets you not pay. Oh, maybe. Huh. Alright, let's take Withering so we can kill the Soul Warden so that we can kill the Linden. More lands. Don't hate that. I like Drowned Loch. That's cool. Withering the Soul Warden. Let's Drowned Loch the Linden. And now we actually get to keep attacking. Alright. Got the opponent on a 33 turn clock. You love to see it. Do I have the ability to make white mana? What happens if I steal this cleric class? I don't think I can make white mana. Oh, Hall the Storm Giants. That ought to speed things up. Alright. Let's Thoughtseize Gideon's Company. That's got like infinity power. But I guess we just kill it and then it's not a problem. Wait, hold on. Let's do this properly. Azcanta first. Hit Fatal Push. Then we counter the company. Important to counter it rather than destroy it so the opponent doesn't gain some life. I'm going to assume that at this point I should probably memory. I don't think having a Fatal Push in hand is worth not drawing 7. What'd you draw, opponent? No, it was a land. I should have held up Azcanta. I feel so punished. How much do you cost to activate? 5, so that's not in danger this turn, so let's just play the Narset instead then. Might as well draw cards, why not? Thoughtseize, sure, that's super relevant right now. Definitely. Esper Sentinel, okie dokie. Opponent gains some more life. That's putting a damper on our clock. Cleric class finally levels up. There we go. Okay, we found the Kaervek. Now the opponent's life gets difficult. Opponent successfully gets bluffed into taking an extra point of damage. Kaervek clears the board nicely. Narset down ticks. It's Drowned Loch? I guess we did actually put a bunch of creatures in their graveyard. Now let's take Archmage's Charm. Alright, and we play a Hall, and then I figure we probably pass. So they activate Cave, we Fatal Push the Cave. I guess I could steal Cleric's class and then steal Authority to the Consuls, and now that they've leveled up the Cleric class? Who? I need to know how this works. What happens if in response to the opponent leveling up Cleric class, I steal Cleric class? Do I guess I didn't have a creature, but I guess I would get the creature? Is how that works, I think? That's cool. I like that interaction. I wish I could have done something to take advantage of it. Now let's play land untapped. Alright, so now if the opponent plays a creature, I can steal Authority of the Consuls so that I can start putting counters on things with Cleric class. Apparently we do gain the effect if we get an ownership. Yes. Okay, so that's going to enter the battlefield as a creature, so in response, I would love to steal Authority of the Consuls. Getting interest tapped. We put a counter on, I guess, Lier? Why not? Soul Warden. Okay, that enters tapped and gives me another counter. I will put the counter on Kaervek this time, because why not? I think technically paying the cost is putting a counter on the class. I don't know. Is it a reflexive trigger? And activating the ability is the resolution puts the counter on it? Alright, well, we can take this Withering, and the Withering kills the Gideon on their turn, so I don't need to bother actually attacking it. Classes don't have counters. Right, they just have leveling up. And do they level up as a result of the resolution of the ability? Alright, let's Withering this Gideon, and Withering the Gideon, and Cave activates, and then we push the Cave. Is this the part where the opponent concedes? No, it's not the part where the opponent concedes. I'm not doing a very good job of breaking this opponent's spirit. Ooh. Azcanta's doing a good job of breaking my spirit, though. Okay, we will continue attacking. At some point I should probably activate this hall, I guess. That's true, they are ahead right now. Okay, I want to deny them the 1 life, so we're going to steal this Ajani's Welcome, and the creature's going to enter play and get a counter put on Lier. And then we're going to draw 2 cards. And then we're going to activate Azcanta. And we're going to take a Sorin, and we're going to look at our deck size, and the deck size is fine. And we're going to play the Sorin. And we're going to downtick the Sorin. And we're going to gain some life. And we're going to put a counter on the Sorin token. Oh my goodness, our Cleric class and our Sorin have synergy. Radical. Every time this does damage, we get to trigger Cleric class. Ah. 717.2a cost level n abilities means cost colon this class's level becomes n. Okay, so the level turning to the next level is part of the resolution, not part of the cost. Activate this ability only if this class is level n-1 and only as a sorcery, and as long as this class is level n or greater, it has abilities. Okay, sweet. Okay, I want Kaervek, and I want Shadow's Verdict, and I want Fatal Pushes. I guess I don't really need Thoughtseizes, probably. I don't really need Shark Typhoons. I don't really need something as expensive as Commit. Yeah, alright, we're just going to play removal. Removal sounds like fun. These are my favorite matchups because the opponent plays a bunch of creatures that don't do anything or clock me. They just sit around and I get to kill them when I feel like it. Okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain life. Very well, opponent. We're going to start off by Inquisitioning, getting rid of any of those nasty 2-drops that do things that annoy me. Although that said, I guess Voice of the Blessed is fatal pushable. I mean, I suppose I have Jwari Disruption for Linden. So we'll just take the Voice. This way we play around them top decking another Voice. It's a Cleric class. Okay. I don't have an untapped land, actually. That's more of a conundrum than I was expecting. Perhaps that was a flaw in this original plan. Oh, hey, cool. That's not a Linden. And I don't care. We're going to Withering the Soul Warden then? I guess I still hold up this Jwari Disruption for the Linden instead of playing Narset. No! Maximum punished! Opponent top decked a useless card! How am I supposed to play around that? Boo! Okay. This is actually the beginnings of a problem. How do I kill a Linden? Opponent's only got 2 cards in the graveyard. I regret my earlier hubris. Well, we have a fatal push for the cave, at least. Eternal Loch doesn't actually answer anything. Couldn't we fatal push it after the Narset died? We could have. That is a way to turn Revolt on. Fatal Push does actually kill small creatures. This is all technically accurate. Am I sharing the deck list? If you mean the deck list that we are playing, I believe that should be available on the screen somewhere if you click one of the buttons. Seeing the deck list in the top left. If you shock, you can push that turn. That you'll have to run by me again, because I'm not seeing that. Oh, yeah. The turn Narset leaves the battlefield, I could have pushed. I just forgot that I was allowed to do that. Boop, boop. I can also fatal push here, which missed the earlier opportunity to do, but I can do now. And that puts enough in the graveyard that I can unlock the Voice of the Blessed before it becomes indestructible and other such nonsense. Hey Chris, is this the first time you've ever used Fatal Push? It's the first time I've ever used the Revolt on Fatal Push. I don't think we've ever killed anything bigger than 2 CMC with it before. But it's cool to know that it does that. Daxos is big. That's a problem. Oh, hey, cool. That's an answer. I don't think that I'm ever going to Jwari Disruption anything. I hope I remember to bring in the pull from Varos. That gets a counter. How do I answer this silly cave? Alright, we're going to destroy Daxos. We do need card draw. We have it in the deck, But unfortunately, I failed to protect the earlier Narset as well as I should, so we missed out on some of the card advantage we should have gotten. Just saw the list. Has anyone asked about Pull from Tomorrow versus Discover the Formula? I don't think that Discover the Formula is particularly stellar in this list because of the amount of 1-drops it has and how few cards it has with generic mana costs. It would be very easy for Discover the Formula to just kind of whiff, but Pull from Tomorrow for 4 mana tends to whiff less, in my experience. Maybe that's untrue subjectively, but I don't know. This Sorin's gonna get answered by Banishing Light. Yeah, I guess I just force him to do it. Hey, Lier. That seems radical. We love life gain decks. Life gain decks are the best decks to play against. They're super focused on their life total and not on mine, and mine is the only life total I care about. Okay, we play Lier. We get cards. We cast Inquisition. We see what the opponent's got. Oh, hey, it's a Banishing Light. Wow, that would be terrible if that was able to be used on Lier. Thank goodness Sorin took the bullet earlier. I am not going to play this Fetid Pools, because on the off chance they top deck a Banishing Light, I really want to not have played a land. What about Memory Deluge versus Pull from Tomorrow? The rationale there is primarily that if we're boarding into card advantage, it's because we're concerned about the opponent possibly boarding into Graveyard Hate, which shuts off our primary Lier and Search for Azcanta card advantage. So I wanted the card advantage that I had the access to board into to be something that was resilient to Graveyard Hate, and Memory Deluge doesn't do that. As you can't top deck Memory Deluge when you got 8 lands and a Rest in Peace in play and have Memory Deluge actually be a good card. Yeah, I'll take Search for Azcanta, why not? Alright, got the opponent down to 37. Portable Hole. No! My Azcanta! Gravenlore isn't bad, but I do like the flexibility of Pull. We've had a lot of times where casting Pull for 2 is actually just really good and worthwhile. I assume I'm supposed to Fatal Push here so I can cycle this Fetid Pools. Okay, well, we have lots of removal spells, that's for sure. Ooh, Narset can hit Sorin. Sweet. Alright, Sorin, start making some 2/3s. Look at us gaining life. Out life gaining the opponent. Portable Hole. No, my 2/3. How am I supposed to gain life now, opponent? What's with this disgusting hypocrisy? Opponent thinks they get to gain all the life and we don't get to gain any of it? Yeah, I'll pay 1 life for a Fatal Push, why not? Alright, well, we get to down tick Sorin. We're slowly starting that 2/3 chain. Admittedly, we're going to turn it into a 1/3 because I like the idea of making half of my opponent's deck not actually creatures. They have already fully upgraded the Cleric class, so we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, I'll take a Fatal Push, why not? I'm paying so much life for these Sorin cards. Jeez. Sorin, can't you just hit some lands? Ooh, okay. Heliod in play. Guess I'll Davriel's Withering the Heliod? And then Davriel's Withering the Heliod? I forgot that this was actually a creature. It's so much easier to kill if it's a creature. Alright, Sorin upticks and finds Archmage's Charm. Huzzah! I would like to steal this Cleric class. And I would like to... I can do the rest of that later. Important thing is that now we get to put a counter on this life gain token. Yay! And then I can steal something else at some point, depending on when they play a creature. Sanctify? No! Opponent's enchantment destruction. They boarded in to answer their own enchantments. Ah, shoot. What am I supposed to do about that? Dang it. Opponent thought of all the answers. I don't have a way to stop that. Oh. Alright. Bummer. Alright, we're gonna make more life linkers. Opponent's gonna gain some life, it's fine. Ah, shoot. I can't even play Kaervek to the board. But we got the opponent below 20, so that's something. Opponent plays an Esper Sentinel and gains a life. Yeah. Fair. Sorin upticks. Yeah, I'll pay for a Drowned Loch, why not? Ding, 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 ding. Alright, nearly got him. Okay. Almost timed out, only had 12 minutes left. Whatchamacallit? Oh, Tangrams. Why you gotta be blocking my mythic? How come they match you up against good players when you're trying to get there on the final game? I'm gonna keep this because we're probably playing against a Trail of Crumbs deck. We're not. Radical. I'm playing against some Renegade map deck? I don't know what that means, but I gotta feel like Archmage's Charm is probably good against it. Ooh, oh, Paradox Engine Key to the Archive combo. Okay, okay. You just sack for free? Yes, so they have 2 mana next turn. In that case, I'm probably supposed to get rid of Guardian Idol. What about Censor over Jwari Disruption? I kind of hate Censor and think it's a bad card. But mostly, the reason for that is, I think that Censor is just a force spike that you have to pay mana to turn into a land, and only hope that it turns into a land, whereas Jwari Disruption is just always a land. I feel like I'm happier with it always being a land than needing to pay mana to turn it into a land, right? Oh. I found the ramp spell anyway. Graveyard Engine. Okay, so it's probably playing... what do you call it? The... Merfolk? No, the... is it a Merfolk? The 3-drop blue legendary that costs less that lets you recast artifacts from the graveyard. Fiddlebender too, maybe, given the planes. I don't know what Fiddlebender do, but I remember the name. Emery, that's the one. Yeah. But you can turn Censor into a real card too. You don't always want lands. You clearly don't understand how I play Magic if you are trying to use the sentence "you don't always want lands." I do always want lands. Always. I can't think of any time I've ever cycled a Censor hoping to not hit a land. But I can think of a lot of games that I've lost because I had to spend mana early to cycle Censor because I had to hit land drops. And then that meant I didn't have mana to actually play interactive spells. It sucks. Don't like it. Chromatic Sphere, sure. Untapping Key to the Archive with Paradox Engine sounds like a combo to me. I'm assuming that's probably what's going on here. Yeah, Demonic Tutor is gross. Am I supposed to counter that? They could, like, get a counter spell here. That sounds bad for me. I feel like I don't know enough about their deck, and therefore that needs to get countered. Tome of the Infinite off Karn. I'd be willing to believe that. But opponent is out of cards. That's a good thing. Haven't seen red yet. I don't know if they would get red. They probably would have fetched a mountain if they had red in their deck, so I think it's probably just blue-white. No, this is the blue-white pathway. I find it curious that they're just totally unwilling to play out this Paradox Engine, presumably until they find a counterspell. But we got a clock, and we got an answer to their Guardian Idol. Not willing to play Narset, because I definitely want to counter Paradox Engine, I believe. Well, I don't know. Maybe at this point, do I not care if they have Paradox Engine? I guess maybe it's Karn I care more about? Yeah, I agree. Zolfran Void usually indicates you're not super concerned about colored sources. Alright, we continue to just poke face for a little bit. I continue to be unwilling to tap out of my counterspell. They play Tome of the Infinite to win. They typically roll until they hit Lightning Bolt and repeat with Underworld Breach. Oh, okay. I mean, you can also just hit hit Lightning Bolt like a ton of times. I don't know if you necessarily need to have Underworld Breach to repeat it. You can just keep rolling. Paradox Engine. I'm assuming that's probably supposed to be the... You know what? I don't know. I think I'm not actually supposed to counter the Paradox Engine. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what I'm scared of, but I feel like card advantage is what I'm supposed to counter here, not Paradox Engine. How does their deck deal with aggro? I assume it just has to goldfish faster than aggro or else it's not viable. Alright, Inquisition? Yeah, there's Mystic Forge. And a key. The lack of land drops that are stopping me from playing this Narset hurt right now quite a bit. Okay, well, they might just have more threats than I have counter spells. So I need key to whiff. Yep, this is a problem. I have missed too many land drops. If that key hit was something that's actually advantageous for them, I'm in danger. I am willing to Fatal Push to fizzle that. I don't want my opponent drawing a card. That feels kind of weird to say, but here we are. Do I have a Thoughtseize in the yard? No, only Inquisitions. Rough. Yes! Land! Land! I have card advantage again! These are awful. Alright, Sorin's technically card advantage when I find more mana. Hopefully they haven't found multiple Mystic Forges. There's not really a way around me just being in trouble if they do. They did! Well, I'm pretty confident I run more counterspells than they run actual threats, but... Okay. Wait, what does that do, opponent? Did you top deck something else as well? Okay. Is there something that bounces multiple things? Right. This does make a lot of mana. That is true. Can they wish for their whole sideboard? They do have to end the chain with something, don't they? Oh, no. Alright, right. Casting the Karn untaps the portal is what I was missing. But I do need to know what win con they have. Or at least which... Okay. Good enough. Well, that was a very miserable series of draws, but here we are. Now we get to cut stuff and play better stuff, like commits and Shark Typhoons and horrors and pull for tomorrows. And do we play Go Blanks? I don't think so. I don't think this is a matchup for that. Yeah, excuse me. How much creature removal am I supposed to play? Why not a Break Expectation or 2 over Inquisition? Because this deck, with Drowned in the Loch, actually cares about our opponent's cards going to the graveyard. So unlike the standard discard decks where Teachings of the Archaic incentivized you to keep cards in your opponent's hand, this one has an incentive to put them in the graveyard. I feel like the Guardian Idol is giving me an incentive to keep in some removal, but Infernal Grasp is slightly better in that it hits Ancestral Statue without needing to go through the effort of turning on Revolt. I believe that is the case. And I believe that the removal actually has enough use here that we can play it over the Mind Rot with downside. We will take the play. Oh, alright, we'll keep it. We got Shark Typhoon to cycle to hit some land drops if needs be. Tome of the Infinite, is that the scary card? Or are the ramp cards the scary cards? I can't really stop them from having access to ramp, so I might as well stop them from having access to a threat. And I'm thinking Tome is probably a threat. Am I supposed to counter key? Am I supposed to counter key? Am I supposed to counter key? Or play Search for Azcanta? I'm gonna go with I'm probably actually supposed to let them have a key if it means I get to have a Search for Azcanta. I'm not super thrilled about that, but I believe that it's probably correct. Oh. Was I supposed to cut? I needed to consider having answers to Emery or Fiddlebender. I kept a Fatal Push, which is probably bad against Emery. Was I supposed to keep in a... I guess I have Drowned Locks, which is answers to a lot of them, but... Was I supposed to keep in a Withering over a Fatal Push? I wonder. Yeah, we do want lands, unfortunately, so much so that I can't really afford to graveyard one in the interest of transforming Azcanta faster. If the opponent hit a enchantment removal spell off Key to the Archive, then I'm losing my Search for Azcanta, and that's kind of a bummer, but definitely tapping out at the end of turn to cycle the Shark Typhoon either way. Got to get more land drops. Time Warp. That's rude. Do I care enough to counter that, though? I might not. I think I don't counter that. It's not actually more than a draw one, necessarily. Karn, unfortunately, does have to be countered. Yeah. Karn can down tick twice, huh? Portable hole. Okay. Well, take Drowned Catacomb. I can't really play this Lier right now. I guess I just have to hope my opponent doesn't have a Paradox Engine in hand. If they do, I have to like cycle Shark Typhoon for 1. Look for a counterspell. Okay, card down ticks, gets tome. Alright, that's gonna be a problem in the long run on account of it finding spells. That's so much value. I don't even get to know what they find, huh? Okay. What are the odds I just lose to that because I can't possibly beat it? Probably concerningly high. Fog. Well, no, can't let them have that. Missing a land drop, not good. Opponent draws a card, not good. Huh. I just can't really beat that tome in all likelihood, can I? 1 mana to draw a card every turn's real good. What are the possible cards this can hit? More tomes that I can't beat. This one only has 10? Really? That's irrelevant. Card draw, Force Spike, Duress. I guess at least most of those aren't actually relevant. Ooh. Yeah, huh? Why couldn't we let the fog go? Because Karn just had 1 loyalty. I guess we could have, but that gives them another opportunity to find a lightning strike for the shark. I guess then I just counter the lightning strike, maybe? As tempting as it is to Inquisition here, I think I need to hope they fizzle 1 turn and I get to pull for 3. Oh, let's let the kitty in. Wow. Okay, Growth Spiral. I can live with that. Ugh, kitty kitty. Mind Stone. Alright. Gosh, I wish I had a Narset right now. Alright, end of turn. Pull for 3. What you got? Is it a Force Spike? It is, in fact, a Force Spike. Ooh. Ooh. That's a Paradox Engine. Well, that means I lose the game. None of those have been Thoughtseizes, huh? Okay. Maybe they won't go for it. I'm still technically representing a counterspell here. I could have realistically drawn a counterspell by now. That is something they have to be scared of. Nope, they found another threat. That means that as long as they have a castable spell in hand, I lose the game. It's possible? They don't? Maybe? Oh, they can also go off an instant speed, can't they? That's going to make this hard. Unfortunately, every single Tome of the Infinite spell is castable, and possibly every single one is instant speed too? Is that right? No. A couple of them are sorceries only. How many sorceries only? Well, that was castable, so that's a problem. Okay. So. How not die? How kill artifact with blue-black? Commit? Pull for 3, pull for 1, draw commit? If I pulled for 2 and tapped out, we probably died. Need a Borrower. The problem is we don't actually, like, pressure the opponent enough for Borrower's tempo to be relevant. We're not quite Phoenix in that sense. We have to win through card advantage because we don't actually have other win cons, and Borrower is bad at that. Alright, pull X equals 1, find commit, commit Paradox Engine. Nope, okay. I'm curious if there are enough sorceries in the Tome spellbook, or rather, things without valid targets. So Swords is 1 fizzle, because they can only Swords the creature once. Light of Hope is never a fizzle. Ponder is a fizzle at instant speed. Force Spike is a fizzle at instant speed. Duress is a fizzle at instant speed. Assault Strobe is a fizzle at instant speed. Giant Growth is a fizzle at instant speed. Okay, so 6 of the 10 hits on Spellbook are fizzles at instant speed. Oh, Tome isn't drafting, you just get a random one. Oh, okay. Alright, so they're actually way less capable of going off at instant speed than I thought. Or even going off at sorcery speed with Tome in Okay. I thought that they were guaranteed to be able to go off at sorcery speed. And we're just playing around a counterspell. But I see. So they're not guaranteed to be able to go off there at all. Not without, like, multiple tomes making it a lot more likely. It is generally hard to be too upset whenever there's a Sox in play, huh? This hand's bad. We'll keep. Why not? When is a hand being bad and not having had a curve out stopped me from keeping before? Okay, well, at least I can push a goose. We're going to need to draw some lands. That's important. Going to need my opponent to not have a Trail of Crumbs. That's important. That's not a Trail of Crumbs. Also, what deck plays... Oh, this is some kind of... whatchamacallit deck, huh? Citadel? Yeah. Alright, well, we whiffed on drawing the land. That's a problem. Pretty significant problem, actually. Still whiffing on drawing the lands. Continues to not be good for me. That is a mayhem devil. Luckily, it turns out that, given that I don't have any lands, I do have answers. Alright. Tap land. Not quite the Archmage's Charm we were looking to hold up, but thank you for the fur kitty. Oh, you are... Oh, wait, is that 4? No. No, it's not. Not 4 cards in the yard. Bummer. Okay. Prosperous Innkeeper makes a treasure. Shambling Ghast attacks. Yup. Destroy Priest. Alright, still no lands. Tiny conundrum, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Am I supposed to Archmage's Charm to steal Shambling Ghast here? That can't possibly be correct. I think I'm supposed to draw 2. Maybe we'll hit a Kaervek. That'd be cool. Alright, drew some cards. They might even do things. Sweet. So we get to Davriel's Withering, an Innkeeper. I get to Davriel's Withering, a Woe Strider, maybe instead is better plan. Don't really want Woe Strider in the graveyard. That does make Drowned in the Loch not stellar. I guess I could just use Drowned in the Loch now, and then it doesn't matter as much that Drowned in the Loch is bad, because then Drowned in the Loch is gone? I think that logic checks out. I think I would like to Withering an Innkeeper. Taking less damage seems good. Yowzers. Still not quite convinced I can actually tap out of counterspells on account of Citadel just killing me. Woe Strider number the next one is a concern. Guess I have to draw 2 cards here because I can't not draw 2 cards here. And if I find a removal spell for an Innkeeper, I'd like to do it before they can sack it to Scry. Unfortunately, have not found a Thoughtseize, so there will be no Lier into Thoughtseize here. Which, also regrettably, means I am now just tapping out and dead to Citadel. And the opponent is scrying very hard towards Citadel. I'm sure that'll be totally fine and not just instantly kill me. Hey, the opponent had a Citadel. How incredibly surprising. Alright, well, time to see if 22 life is enough to kill me. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1 -1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. Okay. That seems like it would be bad. Do I let it resolve? I could fatal push it. If I wind up with Revolt... Am I likely to wind up with Revolt? Who knows? And I'm probably dead either way, so I might as well let it resolve. It's not like it's really a significant difference from Woe Strider, to be honest. In fact, opponent seems to think it's worse than Woe Strider, as far as activated abilities to look at the top of their deck goes. Yep. I guess killing the Prosperous in... Okay. Mayhem Devil from hand is good game. That I cannot answer or stop from killing me. Alright, let's see about drawing lands this time. I'm going to play Kaervek and Shadow's Verdicts. And commit and pull from Amaro's. And then we're going to look at that Hullbreaker Horror and kind of ho and hum. Can I afford to tap out for Sorin against them? I can if I actually draw Thoughtseize. Don't think I want Shark Typhoon. Not super into Narsets. Not super into commits as a result. Do need some card advantage. Is Davriel's Withering decent? It's not terrible. Is Fatal Push better? Not particularly. I think we're heavier on the Witherings. They combo a little better with Kaervek. I think. That sort of seems reasonable to me. Alrighty, this has lands, so that feels like an upgrade over where we were at before. I don't think I'm turn 1 Inquisitioning here. I don't think they play Trail of Crumbs, which means they don't have as persistent card advantage as the other versions of food do. Do I want a Jwari Disruption, a 2-drop? Not if they play a Mana Rock. So let's start with Inquisition then. Yes, I would like to get rid of an Innkeeper. I believe that would be for the best. Don't play the Black Source, because we might top deck Archmage's Charm. Thoughtseize hits Narset. Opponent wants to shut off card advantage. They know about the Jwari Disruption, which informs when they play the Citadel. Curious to sack the food for the Priest, but I guess it's not bad. They don't really have a clock at the moment. I mean, they've got attacking with Priest. That's, I guess, is something. Am I supposed to Drown Unlock this Priest so they have fewer creatures and can't activate Priest to make mana as easily? I think probably. It also saves me some life and denies them the ability to use it to draw a card. Alright. I do not care about the information that playing the Watery Grave instead of the Swamp provides. I think 2 life is more valuable here. Priest attack, sure. Jwari Disruption is not a very super great answer to Citadel, but I definitely think I can't pass up drawing cards in this spot, even though I have to lose a counterspell to do it. Okay, Kaervek not good against this particular board, but Pull from Tomorrow is pretty radical. Opponent has Goose, so they can make 3, 4, 5 mana, which means with a land drop they can get up to 6, but they know about the Jwari Disruption, so they don't want to jam into it. If needs be, I can drown the Goose on my turn to deny them the ability to play around Jwari Disruption next turn. Or I can Withering a Goose. That works too. We'll get rid of a Kaervek here. It's extra. We can Withering the Goose before... I guess I should have maybe done that at their upkeep? Well, maybe not. I'm uncertain if that's actually better or worse. Okay, opponent just gains a little bit of life. Fine by me, fine by me. We have 4 cards in the yard, so we're 2 away from Drown countering Citadel. Thoughtseize here is going to take Drown basically 100% of the time. I think we counter it just to deny additional information. No land drop for the opponent means that the Jwari Disruption is still representing shutting off Citadel. Narset finds a Withering. Alright, well, that's an answer to the Priest. I would like to answer that before they can untap and use the mana for Phyrexian Tower. I should have done that on their upkeep because that was totally enough mana to cast Company. And that's possibly a card they're playing. In fact, maybe we saw them playing it last game? That's a possibility. That's definitely 5 mana, only 2 of which is a black source. So Binding gets the 6th land for Citadel. Feel like I'd rather have a Kaervek in play than attack with Hall this turn. Alright, so they can cast Citadel. Prosperous Innkeeper comes into play and makes a treasure and dies, so they can play around Jwari Disruption. I feel like I'm supposed to lower their life total by 6 rather than represent Jwari Disruption here. I believe that to be correct. Maybe there's some merit to holding up Davriel's Withering, but uncertain. Opponent sacks some food, gains some life, down to 13. Okay. But they can't have Innkeepers in play because of Kaervek. So what can you do with this much life, opponent? Mayhem Devil's bad for me. Company's bad for me. Woestrider Clothis. Okay, so they can kill Kaervek. Oh, come on. Goose? So they can sack the Goose and the treasure to kill the Kaervek. They can sack 2 treasures to kill the Kaervek. Alright, that accomplishes the same thing. Jeez, opponent. Alright, still sort of low life total, but wow. Alright, that went stellarly for them. Well, I got nothing. That's cool. Whoa. Wasn't that kitty? Wasn't that again? I don't think I care what they chump block with here. Whether it's Goose or Strider, giving them the choice is fine. And then I just kill the other one. Mayhem Devil. Not what I saw coming. Okay. I would have thought they would want the Mayhem Devil, but I guess not. Okay. Huh. In that case, I think I hold the Withering. The potential to remove a life gain creature seems like a big deal. Okay, they gain some life. They play a Shambling Ghast. And they gain more life. They play a Woe Strider for a bunch of blockers. Lovely. Priest, sure. What kind of burn spells do I have? Not enough, I don't think. Jeez. Okay. Well, we have one board wipe we can top deck into that's pretty solid here. That's the goal. Don't think it's worth Withering as a result. Yeah, I think the board wipe's more or less the only game plan here. Okay, failing that, Lier is interesting. Lier is potentially viable, although it makes me wish I had Withering last turn. Am I supposed to Withering the Goose before it untaps and gains them 3 life? I'm definitely supposed to Withering the Priest before they untap. That's super important. I'm gonna go with I'm also supposed to Wither the Goose. I don't think I bother Withering anything else. Okay, down to 6 life. One plays 1 land off the top. That's their 1 land. Three, 6, 8. 10. Llanowar Elves gives them 9. I have to be careful about Withering the Woe Striders. Klothys doesn't give them 10? Why did they do that? What's the point of that? Did they forget that they have one in play? I don't think that does anything. Okay. So they can try to get to 10 by sacking a Woe Strider, or at least they could have back when they had more mana. Just to get to guard under it? No, they cast that using mana from hand. Gilded Goose hitting food. 4, 8. So now that's still... No, that is 10. Alright, I have to hit Llanowar Elves here. Hitting Woe Strider doesn't work because they still have enough mana to escape Woe Strider. Yeah, they might have thought they could sack with Bolas the Citadel and win the game before the legendary rule trigger. That's true. 5. Okay, so back up to 9. Oh, come on. For a... Nope. Jeez. Whew. Well, what do we got this time around? Removal spells? I guess we hope the opponent's on a hand with lots of aggression. I'm beginning to remember that this deck was much better when you have open deck lists and can inform yourself of how to mulligan. Because keeping hands that are just bad against anything that isn't aggressive is not super exciting, but I guess Spikefield Cave is an indication of aggression. Alright, well, this... You know what? This is certainly a game where it seems like my Fatal Push and Drowned Locks are going to get some use, converting into life. That's a good start. Dragon's Rage Channeler in mono red. That's interesting. How does mono red get delirium? I suppose I should be Fatal Pushing this Dragon's Rage Channeler in response so that they have slightly less of a chance. Oh, wait, no, hold on. There's Bomat Courier that exists. I need to save Fatal Push for that, if possible. Because Bomat Courier is a billion% a card they would play alongside Dragon's Rage Channeler. Don't think I'm that excited to play Narset here. I got 4 cards in the yard, so I can actually Drown and Lock card advantage spells. Opponent is super interested in Spikefield hazarding me. Static Discharge. Okay, sure. I assume I'm supposed to Drown and Lock counter spells over regular burn spells. Narset shuts off Faithless Looting. Do we think that Faithless Looting is a card they would be likely to play? That kind of... I feel like they have to care about card advantage to an extent, right? They do. Huh. That implies some interesting things about the opponent's deck. It's how they turn on the 3/3. Huh. How do they recover from the card disadvantage? Alright, well, let's take a look at their hand. Okay. Burn spell to face. Sure. I feel like there's no way I can lose this game, but I guess I don't know what the opponent's playing. Showdown of the Scalds? Okay. I also play the Red Madness 1/1 that casts for 0. That's a thing? Huh, okay. Oh, do they also play the 5-drop artifact that costs 1 less for each thingy you cast? Or each thing you've discarded. Costs 2 less for each thing you've discarded that turn. That's a different deck, this is just burn? That's kind of what it looks like. I could see Showdown of the Scalds being a card it plays, but... Play with fire. Okay. I think I got enough counter spells that I'm fine with going to 3 here. Hello, Thoughtseize. Alright, coming back. That looks like a burn spell that we're going to counter. I was gonna say, I would like Jwari Disruption so I can continue making land drops here. Dragon's Rage Channeler, huh? Well, I have enough creature removal already that I think I just use Archmage's Charm to draw. Am I just killing this Dragon's Rage Channeler with Kaervek? Probably, because I can't actually play this Lier anytime soon. I need my counter spells to deal with burn spells at the moment. And Kaervek actually does clock them. I don't think there's any way I can lose this game. It sounds dangerously close to the incantation for summon way to lose this game. I'm always interested in being wrong. Being wrong is always educational. I am willing to go to 2. Is that every spike field hazard? That is every spike field hazard. Okay, commit is nice to have. That actually does turn into a counterspell with a Lier once we hit 1 more mana. E2 Lava Runner, sure. That's going to my face rather than my Narset? Wow, opponent. No respect for the Planeswalkers. Going to 2 could be bad versus the desert? Oh, that's true, isn't it, huh? That is true. I can't actually do anything about that. I suppose the best we can do is find Sorin soon? Desert totally is a card they would play too, isn't it? Yeah, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Somehow still doesn't have Delirium on. I'm not gonna cast Thoughtseize right now, I don't think. I'm sort of interested in discarding Commit, but I think that that would be a huge mistake, probably. Okay. Happy to commit Static Discharge, because it actually is one card they're going to draw that won't be the land that I can't beat. No Cling to Dusts in the main, no. We can't really pay for any escape cards, because our graveyard is so important to Lier. Got the opponent down to 8. I think I'm supposed to Archmage's Charm to draw 2 here, because it's lethal next turn if I find a Hall of the Storm Giants. Oh, no justice. I could cycle Fetid Pool into Hall of the Storm Giants, but I couldn't play Hall of the Storm Giants because I want to have 2 counter spells up here. Okay. Not the scary land. We get a cycle Fetid Pools, and we know they're not drawing the scary land next turn. So if the opponent plays a burn spell here, and I counter it with Drown in the Loch, then I get to play Lier with Commit to Memory up. I get to Commit to Memory the Static Discharge, and we win. But that's only if they play this card now. Oh, it was the next card? We were 1 away? Okay. Since they didn't play that card out of hand, I can't play Lier, because that only leaves me with 1 counter spell, and I need 2. Luckily, Hall fixes this, and I still have lethal. So I just need that card in hand, not to be the land that kills me, that they would have played last turn. I think we got there. Easy peasy, barely even stressful. Never didn't have exactly precisely enough to not die. Alright, I'll take it. Well, I think we're going to play Aether Gust. I think I'm not going to play Thoughtseize. It's actually not terrible, but it's not very good either. Definitely not going to play Infernal Grasp. Kind of interested in Fatal Push. So between commit and pull from tomorrow... Cat, you just begged to be let out. Ooh, feel like pull is too slow? I don't know, did you see that game we just played? That didn't seem terribly slow. But I kind of get what you mean, though. I'm not totally convinced that Narset is particularly fast. I feel like I should probably play more commits. Is Kaervek? I mean, I guess Kaervek actually was really important in that game. We probably would have lost without Kaervek. So maybe we keep Kaervek in? Oh, I'm willing to keep this on the hopes of a Sorin dream. Darcy. Okay. Well, we got some removal spells. We just have to hope they're fast enough. Hey, there's a Raminep Ruin. And a Roiling Vortex. That's a problem. I probably can't beat that. I guess I have Aether Gust and commit. Is the hope. Socks. No. No. No scratching. Yeah, that's my hand. Hello. Oh, burn spells are scary. Ban nerf predictions for today. I'm hoping Alrund's Epiphany in Standard and then no other clue in any other formats, and hopefully alchemy buffs of random cards that don't see play. I feel like the opponent's line is probably land, cast 3 damage at face. It seems like the sensible line. Yup. Yup, I take damage. And here's a bunch of Sorins, but the Roiling Vortexes are pretty good. Gonna have to draw an Aether Gust soon. Commit to Memory would also be... no. Yes, Commit to Memory would also be as well. Lightning Strike to face is bad. Opponent. Only one burn spell away. Makes me sad. Oh, goodness, 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 goodness. This not great. I don't think Townraiser Tyrant needs nerfs. It's a respectable fine card as it stands. I think it does a good job of being a card that's solid against aggro and... or solid against control and medium okay against aggro. I think it's fine for cards like that to exist in the format. Yeah. Okay. Commit is a stellar draw. I'm going to need the opponent to not have any burn spells. Wait. That's totally okay-ish? I was hoping they would activate Raminop Ruins to try to kill me with the Roiling Vortex, and then I would get to commit the Roiling Vortex. Would you recommend this list over the Grixis one? I have... Grixis what? Did we have a Grixis list in Historic at some point? Yeah, that's scary. Alright, opponent, please don't have a way to kill me. Hey! We did it somehow, apparently. That seems like a premature concession when you have 4 creatures on board, but I'll take it. I see. That is a way to make it easier to mix up the two. How are we liking the Sorins here? Have they felt decent? I don't know. Maybe? Oh, opponent. Cool cards. I'm jealous. I'm not, like, terribly worried about Unexpected Windfall because I got counterspells, but I'm probably still more worried about Unexpected Windfall than the rest of the cards in their hand. 4 life on the first turn. The saddest part is that that's like the ideal opening for this deck. I can feel the growth spiral coming with every fiber of my being. Oh, thank goodness. It's just very hard to play lots of expensive spells against cheaper counter spells, is the part of the matchup that's awkward for them. But I definitely want to try to make my land drops. Okay, drawing removal spells is bad. Drawing removal spells continues to be bad. I get the feeling Inquisition's probably not going to be stellar against them, unfortunately. I'm almost tempted to let them have the Nissa so that I can just... Oh no, Davriel's Withering isn't Fatal Push. I'm not supposed to let them have the Nissa. Oh no, opponent! Nothing! Nothing's like one of the worst possible things you could be doing. We can take a Geist Channeler? Oh, are they on Geist Channeler? That would make sense, wouldn't it? 4 Geist Channeler for Growth Spiral, I'm assuming? Wow, okay. Just letting me take the Archmage's Charm instead of casting the Archmage's Charm to draw 2? I'm not going to question your business, opponent. Your business is yours. Yeah, Unexpected Windfall. I will be countering that, I believe. Yeah. And admittedly, this does let them Nissa if they find an untapped land. That would be bad for me. They did. Yeah, alright. Alright, opponent. You got a game plan. I do gotta figure out something to do about that. Oh, Narset doesn't shut off Discover the Formula? Rude. Okay, well then what am I doing? 3, 6, 8, 10... Opponent has 10 mana if I don't interact with Sulphur Falls. Costs them 11 mana to cast both Discover the Formulas. If I kill the Sulphur Falls, they have 5 cards in the yard, which is not enough for me to drown in the Loch. I do have to Narset here. Is Fatal Push even good? No? Well, it is on future turns, I suppose, is the idea. Unfortunately, I do want to kill that Sulphur Falls. It means they get to do more damage to Narset. I don't get the possibility of fizzling the attack on Narset, but I think them having 1 extra mana available to Discover the Formula makes it too awkward if they find an untapped land for me to change the timing on that removal spell. Land punches Narset. I'm definitely short on mana here. There we go. Alright, land helps. So we get the Fatal Push, Esteem Vents. Then hold up Drowned Loch. Still a little short from doing everything I'd like to. Nissa can ultimate here. It's going to be inconvenient. Luckily, Davriel's Withering actually gives me a way to remove Nissa lands, even after Nissa ultimates. This time I would definitely like to counter-discover the formula. Is that agreeable, opponent? Alright, there's a Sulphur Falls. How many Fatal Pushes have I used? Just the one. Oh, that was bad. If I was going to Davriel's Withering this Sulphur Falls, I should have done it before it did the extra damage to me. Alright, well, we Lier. Drawing an untapped land was pretty good. The question is if I want to try to Thoughtseize my opponent, or if I just want to hold up Fatal Push instead. I think I just want to Thoughtseize my opponent. Expansion Thoughtseizing me. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm actually really happy about that, I think. Getting rid of Sorin isn't a big deal here, but getting an extra Thoughtseize on Explosion is? Oh yeah, super excited to get rid of Expansion Explosion. I really think they made a mistake there. Sweet. Okay, well then I'm going to Withering the Sulphur Falls before they untap. Luckily, Lier is an extremely good stat line for answering Nissa lands. Cam check? Yeah, we got a kitty down here. I could probably tilt it a little more. So, I'm not really going to be able to deal with these lands unless I draw more copies of that spell that's in exile, Davriel's Withering. As long as there's Lier in play, though, Davriel's Withering does remove lands that Nissa animates. Unfortunately, they've now thinned their deck quite a bit, which could be a problem. And unfortunately, those lands also have Vigilance, which will be a problem. Okay, definitely need to find Davriel's Withering here. Definitely need to find Davriel's Withering here. Definitely need to find Davriel's Withering here. Commit. Is that useful? No, not at all. In fact, one might even say that leaves us kind of dead unless I Thoughtseize that Nissa. Commit the Nissa emblem. I wish. Oh, I wish. Alright, going to 1. Not sure what our out is here. If I don't Thoughtseize that Nissa, they just uptick the Nissa in play and then play a second Nissa, and they've got 2 attackers, and they do 6 to me, and that kills me. Hum, hum, hum. I can't commit lands, and I can't drown in the Loch then. Okay, well then we're casting Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, couldn't quite deal with the Nissa in time. I wonder if I wasn't supposed to counter the Windfall. That seems super wrong, though. I have difficulty imagining that's correct. Alright, let's get Pull, let's get Horror, let's get Commit and Aether Gusts, and maybe Shark Typhoon? I think Shark Typhoon. Let's cut... Huh. The first thing I feel like I should be doing is just cutting, like, every single sorcery speed spell. It costs more than 3 mana. I feel like I'm probably going to need more Fatal Pushes than that, though. Inquisition, a lot of their cards were expensive. Yeah, but hitting Archmage's Charm alone is probably enough to justify keeping it, I think. Wonder if I should have more Fatal Pushes than this. I'm not going to be a coward. Verdict. And the trouble is, trying to board into a 5-mana board wipe sounds rough. Against a flash deck. It's kind of like, it's answering the problem we got into in Game 1, which is that we couldn't answer Nissa Emblem lands. But I think that that's probably not a very typical situation for us to get into. And I am envisioning a scenario in which most of the time where we have Verdict in that situation, we probably lose anyway. Even with Verdict. Okay. Huh. Oh, I probably should have been playing 2 more Fatal Pushes, though, because I also have to worry about Shifting Ceratops and Nightpack Ambusher. I don't want a mulligan, though. I should probably mulligan, though. Alright, this seems fine. We'll get rid of Inquisition. I could get rid of Fetid Pools. And then just draw lands. I need this Narset to resolve, so like counter spells sound bad. Do socks like face scratches? Do you, buddy? He likes chin and head and jaw. Not quite so... no objection to nose scratches. Yeah, nose scratch is fine. I'm not sure what other part of the face would be like the face of a cat other than the nose. Prefer to cut Drown? Maybe? Drown seems strong when we have 2 hand-hate spells, though. The 1-2-3 curve doesn't necessarily matter so much because our mana isn't really going to support a 1-2-3 curve. I mean, I guess we could Watery Grave, Fetid Pools. I'll accept it. My inclination would be to just draw the 3rd land. But it also could turn out that the opponent just has a bunch of counter spells, and then we need all the hand-hate spells we can get. I don't actually have an answer to the Nightpack Ambusher. So, like, that's a problem. So I guess I'm taking that. And then I'm just going to play the Narset and hope that shuts off Archmage's Charm and Windfall. Wait, that actually seems like a good plan. I like that plan. I don't have any problems with that plan. Yeah. Hold on. This plan rocks. I like this plan. Admittedly, we drew the Fetid Pools, so it wouldn't have mattered if we had bottomed the Fetid Pools. I guess in this spot, I technically would have preferred to have a Drown to the 5th land, but what am I supposed to take? Probably the Aether Gust, I suppose. I don't really want to get killed by Anissa. I am willing to go shields down here. I don't know why I cycled the Fetid Pools. The thing I most wanted to hit was a land, and Fetid Pools was pretty good at hitting a land. I guess I hit an untap land, which was better, because now I get to have Archmage's Charm and Aether Gust up. If my opponent casts... Okay, I was going to say, if they cast Windfall here to draw 1 card and make 2 treasures, am I supposed to counter that? Yeah, the urge to cycle your land to hit a land drop is very strong. I do need to do something eventually. They're a lot better at doing things. I guess maybe they eventually miss land drops? Nope. Not anytime soon. Commit to Memory is nice, though. Alright, well, I don't need to do anything as long as I'm hitting land drops, I guess. Alright, well, let's draw cards. I don't want to miss land drops or anything. Aren't you supposed to be on the teamer side of the battlefield? I'm on the emotional teamer side of the battlefield currently. Countering my Archmage's Charm. Oh no! I refuse, opponent. You don't have the mana to Archmage's Charm me again. Just try to negate me, I dare you. It will go very poorly for you if you do. Unless you have a Spikefield Hazard for my Nissa, or Narset. But I somehow doubt their mana base includes Spikefield Hazard. Yeah, I don't think you can do anything here unless you have Mystical Dispute upon it. You just have to let this resolve. The commit's going to go in the graveyard, and if they're tapped out of any kind of counter spell, then I just memory them and the game's over. Oh, cute. Wait, why the... Oh, also Mystical Dispute? Okay. Expansion Explosion's actually a really sweet combo with Unexpected Windfall. I think they're debating if they want to Mystical Dispute my commit, which is going to go badly for them, because then I'm going to get to resolve a Lier with an Aether Gust in hand. Boop. Boop. Well, I guess I could Thoughtseize them instead of holding up Aether Gust. Yeah, it's probably better to Thoughtseize. Ooh, okay. And an Archmage's Charm. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, they expansioned commit to get rid of the Narset. Unexpected Windfall draws 2 cards, makes some treasures, do. Opponent has to kill Lier right now, or else I untap with commit and Archmage's Charm and Aether Gust. And it's pretty good to have commit and Aether Gust. Never really want an Unexpected Windfall sacking 2 treasures. It doesn't feel great. I would like to play a Narset, make my opponent's life harder. How many counter spells does my opponent have? Hey look, pull from tomorrow's pretty good. Alright, opponent, what you got? How are you answering my Narset, who's threatening to memory next turn? Growth Spiral, sacking 2 treasures. I feel your pain, opponent. Technically, I could have left back Lier to protect Narset from a Nissa, but my opponent's just not going to be able to resolve a Nissa here with this much mana. On account of me having 2 Aether Gusts. Fry! Wow. Fry would be really good if it was uncounterable. Or double uncounterable. Thankfully, despite it being double uncounterable, Aether Gust still counters it. Wow, and Nissa... So they should have shocked the land and played Nissa first, and then when I Aether Gusted the Nissa, they fry the Lier in response. It's a tiny bit better. They kill the Lier. They don't resolve the Nissa this turn, but they kill the Lier, and then I memory. And that's worse for me than if I memory with a Lier in play. Oh, Night Pack Ambusher sucks for me. I'm gonna play the Infernal Grasp. I never should have cut it in the first place. That was very dumb. Really think I want Shark Typhoon very much, but maybe we hardcast it at some point. Fry the Narset. Yeah, I guess you could leave me with the Lier, but like, knowing I have Pull from Tomorrow, commit Archmage's Charm, and leaving me with the Lier is also losing. Basically, the opponent just, like, can't win there. More hand hit with Go Blanks. Go Blank is a really weird thing to board in with this deck because it has so little, or rather, so anti-synergy with Drowned Catacomb. I feel like I'm only supposed to board in Go Blank if Graveyard Hate is super impactful against the opponent, and without that, it's not worthwhile. I guess I'll cut Shark Typhoon. My opponent's on Archmage's Charm. How good could it be? You want out, kitty? Oof. It's a good thing my legs healed up from playing sports ball last week, or all this getting up and down would really be tuckering me out. Well, this is a hand. It does magic card things. It just doesn't do very much magic card things. Am I supposed to pay 2 life to Archmage's Charm on 3 with the right draws? I don't think so. I think we just swamp on 1. Aether Gust's a good draw. I like Aether Gust. My opponent has cards. That makes me sad. All their cards do things. Do. I think I want them to try to Unexpected Windfall since I've got the Aether Gust. So what do I get rid of? Probably the Archmage's Charm, even though it isn't castable here. I mean, no, I can't really let them have Unexpected Windfall. I counter that into they resolve Nissa. That's just not quite acceptable. Memory Lapse has already... Well, I guess it might end up banned, but it's currently suspended, which means it's basically banned. But they might actually give us wildcards for it after however many X months. Oh, they missed a land drop. That makes it very easy for me to cycle this Fetid Pools without my opponent resolving Unexpected Windfall. Nice. Oh, hey, cool. I get to throw out some hand hate. That was a mistake. They can expansion that. Now I lose my Aether Gust and therefore my answered Unexpected Windfall. I could Aether Gust the expansion, and then they sorcery speed resolve Windfall. So what happens here? They take Gust. I play a land. I Inquisition. Well, I guess maybe this works. It's not great, but it kind of functions. As long as they have anything else that I can take with this second Inquisition, then I put enough cards in the graveyard that Drown counters Unexpected Windfall. Hey, Shadow Malachi, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. How's the climb going? Still stuck in Plat in Historic. I've been, I think for like the last 3 days now, bouncing around repeatedly one game away. Oh, sweet. Very excellent. Love this. Beautiful. Absolutely happy. Repeatedly one game away from Mythic and then like losing 3 games in a row. It's been amusing. Yeah. I mean, Mystical Dispute does stop us from playing Lier, but Archmage's Charm is like good? Alright, I think I'm probably supposed to take the Mystical Dispute. There's the blue source for Charm. That's not stellar. So I'm going to have to drown the Charm and then hold up Aether Gust. They might wait to try to play Charm until they have another land to negate backup. No, they don't. I think that was probably a mistake from them given what they know about my hand. I don't think that that was an option they wanted to give me. Okay. Archmage's Charm isn't bad. I could Archmage's Charm to draw 2 here just to force them to negate. Do I want to do that? Probably. It does stop them from Nightpack ambushing, which has some merit. I don't think they can let this resolve, for sure. And letting me get closer to land drops isn't beneficial to them at all. And most importantly, they don't have a second red source here, so they can't play the Unexpected Windfall. Wow, yeah, I don't think they were supposed to let that happen. But I'll take it. Ooh. How much do I want to play out this Jwari Disruption? Yeah, I care about making this 6th land drop quite a bit, because depending on what the opponent does here, it gives me Lier. Yeah, alright. Well, I'm still definitely not letting that Archmage's Charm resolve. They still can't really do anything. Red land. Alright. Okay. That gives them Unexpected Windfall into Nissa. Oh. And I can't really stop that other than Aether Gusting the Unexpected Windfall? I could Lier Thoughtseize. I guess that's probably the best bet. Hope they didn't top deck a Mystical Dispute. I just lose if we do that. If I Narset, I think they just Unexpected Windfall in response. Sweet. And if they Unexpected Windfall in response, then I don't really have a way to deal with the follow-up Narset. Because at that point, they'd have the 2 treasures. Assuming they discard whatever the unknown card was, they get the 2 treasures, and then they get to play Nissa with negate backup. So the Aether Gust doesn't cut it. Well, as tempting as it is to take Expansion Explosion here. Oh. If I take the Nissa and the Expansion Explosion, drawing an untapped land, and explode Lier for 4, that sucks a lot. But Okay, what happens if I take the Expansion Explosion and give them Nissa? They resolve the Nissa, they have Scorching Dragonfire. I have Drowned in the Loch to kill the Nissa tokens. I got Aether Gust. Maybe I actually don't care about this Nissa, and I care about the Expansion Explosion more? If they draw Scorching Dragonfire, if they draw Expansion Explosion, if they don't draw a land, they can Scorching Dragonfire or Expansion to kill the Lier, although I think I could beat that. Huh. I think I'm supposed to take Expansion Explosion here. I don't think I'm as scared of the Nissa. They did draw the land, so I feel very rewarded by my decision. Alright, Nissa upticks and attacks. Represents Scorching Dragonfire on the Lier, but I don't care. Yep, I take 3. We destroy target island. I could just let my opponent continuously animate lands here and just punch Nissa to death with Lier rather than wasting an Aether Gust. Is that good? I've only got 2 removal spells. And I need to attack Nissa 3 times. Eh. Nah, I think we just Aether Gust Nissa. They might draw Expansion Explosion, so I can't Aether Gust in their draw step, because then they could Expansion, or they could explode in response to the Aether Gust, and I wouldn't have a way to deal with the explosion. I'd rather force them to redraw the Nissa. In fact, they choose not to redraw the Nissa, which is probably pretty telling of that being the correct timing. Ease a land. They animate a hole. Oh, yeah. I don't care about the negate, so I don't need to take it away. I think I'm just supposed to kill the hall here. I wonder if the opponent forgot that I could do that. Because Ward doesn't do anything if Lier is in play. Yeah, okay. That was entertaining. That's a fun matchup. I'm not sure who's supposed to be favored, but it's fun to play. Yeah, I suspect the opponent didn't know how Lier and Ward worked.